At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Peace, fam. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. I know I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. We head to Senegal on Tuesday, and I cannot wait. I am excited. I feel like spiritually, I'm already in Senegal. I cannot wait. We head for Senegal on Tuesday for the Jazz Festival. So I'm looking forward to that. Hit the like button, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all the support from all of you guys for the past. Listen, we started cooking 2000? I was started posting videos in 2012 or something like that. 2013. And we still here. We're not going nowhere. We are not going anywhere. So guys, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements. Oh, I already packed my passport. So I always pack my passports in my bag before I leave so I won't forget them. But I'm going to teach you guys a little tip. Depending on the circumstances, say you forget your passport, right? Say you forget your passport, you're flying international. I'll give you an example. I had a client or clients, there were a couple. We were going to Sierra Leone on Air Senegal. This is November of 2022. And they forgot their passports. So they need to get their passports rushed. So what was suggested, what they did, they had a family member or a friend who had access to their house. So it cost them like $300, $400 though for the mistake. So what they did, they had that friend, they bought a flight ticket for that friend. That friend went to the airport, had a check-in luggage, packed their passports in that check-in luggage. Then they checked in the check-in luggage, but they didn't get on the flight personally. They just put the bags on the plane, but they didn't get on the plane. And so when that plane arrived in New York, they went, got their bags, and they had their passports. So just a little tip: if you have enough time, depends if you have enough time, and if you get your passport at home, hopefully there's another flight coming from your house to the city that you're flying out of in time, and you can always have your passport shipped to you that way. If you forget your passports, that's just random. But I always pack my passports in my bags, my carry-on, or my check-in, so I don't forget them, because that would suck. So yeah, we leave for Senegal on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to that. I cannot wait. We're also going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Let's see here. There we go. Pull up the site real quick. Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Here we go. Yeah, so Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Zanzibar in September for Safari Blue. Then we're rolling to Namibia and South Africa. That's going to be in November. Then Sierra Leone in December. So looking forward to that. We're going to have a great time. If you're interested in joining us on one of our trips, please visit donfo.africa to learn more. We would love to host you on one of our excursions and experiences. There we go. Let's see here. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me pull this up real quick, guys. So if you guys, we spoke on this last week, this whole Ramaphosa and Trump meeting that they had, and this, and there we go, the white genocide was brought up, and Trump pulled out, I guess, photos of graveyards or whatnot. It was saying like, yeah, these are memorials for the white farmers that were killed. And it turns out that those photos were actually photos from the Congo, which is embarrassing. But the problem that I have, now I'm going to play the video here shortly. Why didn't Ramaphosa call him out on that while he was there? Even if Ramaphosa would have been wrong. Why didn't he say that's not South Africa? I don't know where he got that from. That's not what's going. That's not. These photos aren't true. These are wrong photos. This is AI. I'm like, why didn't Ramaphosa stand up to Trump right then and there and say, "Hey, this is incorrect." But let me pull up the interview or the press conference. Here we go.
Mr. President, what will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us around the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it.
Sure.
And we have documentaries, we have news stories. And that, is Natalie here? Somebody here?
Yeah, but what is trying to be a
I
diplomat?
could
What is
show
that?
you a couple of things. And it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
We have, let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to
Ramaphosa was weak in this.
occupy land.
Real weak.
That's who we are. Can we drop our membership from this useless parliament? Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot, kill, Gaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, pa, pa.
The man of D-Day is D-E, is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Peshawar and Soli will not be touched.
You said Malema should be president of South Africa. You know what? I had a conversation like when I'm traveling, especially when I'm in East Africa, I run into South Africans, and the EFF. You know, people are still, for the most part, pro ANC because that's the party of Mandela. When it comes to the EFF, people really don't take the EFF. I mean, they take them serious, but not like that. So.
The tax government. But we're starting with this whiteness. We're cutting the throat of whiteness in Ghana.
Shoot, kill it. Yamasa. Kill the brewer. The farmer. Kill the brewer. The farmer.
Are you looking to establish your business using an address other than your home? Wish you had a...
What I say? That's fine, Candace. What's burr?
For the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future. You understand something you want to get scared of.
Okay.
Freak out. It sounds like a genocidal.
Am I saying it right?
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right
There
here.
is no revolution.
Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses. Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is because
You should listen, Ramaphosa. You should have just told the guy this ain't South Africa. You should be like, this ain't South Africa. That's what you just said. It's not South Africa. I mean, this is your country they're talking about. Defend your country. Defend South Africa. Be like, this is not South Africa.
this I've never seen. But, okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa. That's
You should have told him, no, it's not in South Africa.
to find out. I don't know.
those people.
Okay.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced they would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? You to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead.
Defend South Africa. Defend South Africa.
His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet. Let's go.
Thank you so much. President Trump, and it's last from ENCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know. To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently. And
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
Well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a response from President Ramaphosa?
Your reaction to those videos, Mr. President?
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos.
Here's the 2-minute story of how I built a $10 million a year online business and how my mistakes and successes can help you build your business too. Ready? In 2006, I started a mobile bartending service in Orange County, California. It was lots of fun.
I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous look. This is story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are and the men that you saw, the people that you saw, that those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march. They had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
But let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies. And in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No,
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
The farmers are black. The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad.
Man, Ramaphosa went full black on black crime. Goodness.
But the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they can help us out, because we need an Air Force One until
like I said,
Ramaphosa wasn't being built.
He wasn't prepared.
Two of them being built.
That's the problem
But
I have.
Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay. But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are
and this is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that concern you as the United States.
Those are all racist. Those are all deaths.
Yeah, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns. And these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, you know, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that, because there is support that we can get from you.
Can you please just hear me out? No, all work management platforms are the same. They take forever to learn. And
in the United States, to help us deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges. So I'd like us to discuss it, and of course, outside of the media, so that we sit down and have a really good discussion that will lead to good outcomes.
Are there any other punitive measures that could be in place should you not be satisfied that South Africa is fixing some of the very bad things, inverted commas, that you tweeted are happening?
Well, there are a lot of bad things happening in many countries, but this in particular has been very, very bad, very bad. And because of we're going to have the whole world watching in another short period of time, because you have the G20, and that's a big deal. And it seems like, I mean, I want you to look good. I don't want you to look bad.
Very good.
But we have hundreds of people, thousands of people trying to come into our country because they feel they're going to be killed and their land is going to be confiscated. And you do have laws that were passed that gives you the right to confiscate land for no payment. You can take away land for no payment.
I want to clarify that, because we have a constitution. Our constitution guarantees and protects the sanctity of tenure of land ownership. And that constitution protects all South Africans with regard to land ownership. However, we do say, because we've got to deal with the past, the government, and as your government also has the right to expropriate land for public use.
And you're doing that.
And we've never really gotten underway with that. And we are going to be doing
you're
so.
You're taking people's land away
we have not.
from them.
We have,
and those people, in many cases, are being executed. They're being executed. And they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that. How do you explain that? They're taking people's land away, and in many cases, those people are being executed. And in many cases, it's not the government that's doing it. It's people that kill them and then take their land, and nothing happens to them. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country. They're also going to Australia in a smaller number. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country, and they're white farmers, and they feel that they're going to die in South Africa. And it's a bad thing. Yeah, please.
What can South Africa do? What concessions would you like to see them make to improve relations with the United States? Then I have one more for President Ramaphosa afterwards.
Well, we just spoke about, I got them a very, very complex machine, 150 of them. I was asked by the president if it could help, and I did that. And, I have great feeling for all countries. I deal with all countries, but I have a great feeling for South Africa because I have friends. I have a couple of friends, a few friends here today. I have many friends from South Africa, but many of those friends are not, they can't go back. I have Elon is from South Africa. I don't want to get Elon involved. That's all I have to do, get him into another thing. But Elon happens to be from South Africa. This is what Elon wanted. He actually came here on a different subject, sending rockets to Mars, okay? Yes. He likes that better. He likes that subject better. That's right. But Elon is from South Africa, and I don't want to talk to him about that. I don't think it's fair to him. That's right. But I will say that people are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. Their land is being confiscated, and in many cases, they're being killed. And that scene of, you see how many crosses they have. Those crosses, that's a dead person in every one of them. And those trucks or cars are paying their respects to all of those dead people on a Sunday morning. That's a rough thing to explain away. And the problem we have, and the way, a correct and a fair media exposes things. But we have a very corrupt media. They won't even report this. If this were the other way around, it would be the biggest story. Now, I will say apartheid, terrible. That was the biggest story. That was reported all the time. This is sort of the opposite of apartheid. What's happening now is never reported. Nobody knows about it. All we know is we're being inundated with people, with white farmers from South Africa. And it's a big problem. Marco Rubio was telling me he's never seen anything like it. The numbers of people that want to leave South Africa because they feel they're going to be dead very soon.
All right, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. If you want to call in after the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Link is in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the convo, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, guys. But go ahead and click on the link and call in. Go ahead, Wildflower.
Hi, Dynasty, all right? Yeah. So definitely, the president should have come more prepared for what's going to happen. It's just like he was just not prepared. He must have known this was going to happen, that he's going to get ambushed, and he saw what happened to Zelensky, and just to come there and just not to just to sit there. It was so bad to watch, honestly. It didn't look good on South Africa. He didn't defend the country as he's supposed to. He just sat there. I know he was trying to be calm and diplomatic, but you have to play people like Trump's game. Trump doesn't play by the rules, so you have to throw him they call it curveball. You have to sort of catch him off guard as well. This whole there's crosses on. He could have said that's not South Africa, even though he's not sure, but just say that's not my country. The fact that he just sat there and just listened to the man rambling, making people watch that lame videos, that was like so. It's just embarrassing for Americans as well. It wasn't just embarrassing for the president of South Africa. It was just embarrassing for America to have a president that is meant to be the best of the best, is the best that you have out of 300 million plus whatever people. And he's there peddling right-wing lies. They have pictures from the Congo. It looks so amateurish that you kind of lose respect for America. The respect they've had over the years of being at least professional. So now you have people just printing off things off these damn forums with all the races where they hang out. And the president is making these things legit. He's legitimizing lying, and it's like, you can't be respecting that. So America's image around the world is just going down. Every day this man is in office, it just makes the country look very, you've had Republican presidents that had some kind of intelligence or pretended. They didn't go as far as Trump. Is just just an actor pretending to be president, a reality TV show man pretending to be president. And it's really sad that you have Americans that actually think out of their frustration that this man is the one to represent them. It's not a good look. And also the South African president did not represent South Africa or Africa well. And again, this man is a billionaire. There's no need for him to act so like he's starstruck. Like, oh my God, he should have challenged him. He didn't have to be aggressive, but he could have just been like, sorry, Mr. President, I'll just have to clarify. He wouldn't have to be rude and aggressive, but you have to be assertive in a smart way. But he didn't do any of that. It was cringe just to watch it, and it was going on. I was like, oh my God, just make it stop. But yeah, so that's my view at the moment. It was a lot, man. It was a lot.
All right, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, I thought that what happened there was just a simple ambush. I think people are being way too hard on Ramaphosa. What else was he supposed to do? He says anything. He was put in a position where if he says anything, that whole thing blows up or turns into a Zelensky type situation. It was just in a horrible situation. This idea that people have that he didn't come in there with a plan. He did come in there with a plan. It didn't work, but he came in there with a plan. And his plan was Trump requested to see these South Africans that he's used to seeing, the golfers and stuff like that. I'm going to bring them and maybe he'll listen to them. His whole philosophy was this guy clearly is not going to listen to me. Right. As a black person, Elon has poisoned his mind, was standing there literally staring the man down the entire time. Right. As if it was something disgusting from underneath his shoe. So he knew he had no way of coming in there with equal footing as a president of a nation. So what he did was he brought the white people they wanted to see, and they said exactly what he said, that there's a crime problem in South Africa. It is not a specific genocide, and that's ridiculous. They didn't listen anyway. But what else was the man supposed to do? There was nothing more. There was nothing. He was put in a no-win situation. Nothing he said or did would have changed anybody's mind in that room who wanted to think what they wanted to think.
All right, go ahead, South Africa.
Yeah, I'm gonna second what the previous speaker was saying. Look, at the end of the day, I also wanted to know exactly what Ramaphosa's objective is in going there and leaving South Africa and going over there, because he goes in there, he argues with Trump. It still wouldn't benefit him either way. Even if he told him about some of those pictures and that whole Malema video thing, it still wouldn't have changed anything for me personally. So for me, the question that I have is, why would he even go there? I understand with him bringing some of the white people. Well, some of the white people that he brought that were there, he didn't invite. They're invited by Trump. The two golfers there, I think Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, they were actually invited by Trump, not by Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa came with the minister and the businessman. Johan Rupert. So the rest, the two golfers were actually invited by Trump's people to be part of the meeting. So they were there to actually unsettle the whole thing. So I still don't understand what his objective was in going there. Personally, I think he shouldn't have gone there. So even if he went there and argued with them, it still wouldn't have changed anything. So for me, yeah, that's why I'm gonna leave it.
Afro Man, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I personally am a bit conflicted about Ramaphosa's appearance. It seems if you are scanning through the social media as well as established news outlets and news sources, people actually are quite happy with his performance. They feel that although he was calm, he wasn't as assertive as some of us would have wanted him to be. They feel that his calmness rather reflected his level of maturity and the fact that he acted presidentially. So in one, breath, you want him to be more assertive. You wanted him to be more robust in the way he responded to the false allegations of Mr. Trump. But at the same time, I'm happy that he didn't appear too what's the word? Overly aggressive, as if he was losing his cool. So that's also a good thing. But the funny thing is that Donald Trump said that white South Africans are fleeing South Africa. And the thing is, when you flee, okay, there must be a destination. Where is the destination that they are going to? There has been no reports of displacements in South Africa where the whites are either fleeing from one place to another place in South Africa, or they are fleeing South Africa to another place outside of South Africa. Where are the destinations where they are receiving these white people? They can't just be fleeing into a black hole. They must have a destination that people can account for. So the fact that there is no displacement, there is no centers where we are seeing an increase in the supply of white people fleeing South Africa, that alone should tell you that this thing is fake news, as has been confirmed by a number of news outlets. On the question of what was he doing there with Trump, that's something that even I and a lot of people are asking. It seems that he wants to build up trade relations with the US. I think I heard him talk about minerals. Everybody, as soon as Trump talked about a deal for minerals in Ukraine, you saw Dr. Congo also coming in, and now you have South Africa also coming in. So people they have seen that Trump is very business-minded, and he places a lot of emphasis on trade. So I think that's what he wanted to do. But the thing for me is that the US is not even South Africa's biggest trading partner. It's China and Asia and even the SADC region. South Africa exports and does more trade with the SADC or the Southern African region than with America. So it seems to me if you're going to boost trade, you should focus on intra-Africa trade and as well as Asia. South Africa is a leading member of BRICS. You know, I wonder why he isn't trying to increase trade within the BRICS organization of countries, and why he is rather seeking to build trade relations with Trump. And so I guess in the future, we'll get to know why. We'll get to know if it actually succeeded or whether it fell through. That's what I have to say.
All right, go ahead, D Toto Kisser. And in D Toto Kisser, we got our guys. I forgot to say we have our N-word tariff. All right, N-word
Oh,
tariff.
what are you talking about, man? I pay like I weigh if I say the word, bro.
Yeah,
you get
right.
what I'm saying?
No, you right.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I ain't like Wall Street Willie that's saying I'm rich and I own a golf course but can't give you $10. You get what I'm saying? I ain't one of them brothers, bro. You get what I'm saying? But you know what? Listening to Africans talk, man, it just shows how easy slavery happened and how backward minded and why their countries look like shit. The last guy just sit up there and said that they came in there talking about trade. No, they wasn't talking about trade. They was talking about economic development, because what he said out of his mouth, no, not what he said. The other lady that was sitting on the couch said that he said that if these 600 jobs leave here, you get what I'm saying? It's going to be almost 6,000 people unemployed. And that's going to make the crime even go up. It don't have nothing to do with trade, because any trade that South Africa do with China is shitty anyway. America is the biggest consumer. Do you understand that, Dinus? America is the biggest pocketbook and the biggest consumer. We're the only ones that want to put 85-inch TVs in every room in our house. You get what I'm saying? We the one that want to buy every cell phone that comes out the next year. Even if there ain't shit wrong with your cell phone, you still want to buy. We have that rat race to buy the newest game come out on PlayStation, or buy the newest PlayStation console. We the one that want the newest refrigerator, even if there ain't nothing wrong with our refrigerator. We're the one that's spending that much money. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when I hear, first of all, females are the worst people to talk when you're talking about nation building. You get what I'm saying? Because they always go off of what they think. You get what I'm saying? And that's why it kills me when women sit up here talking about it, because they'll be the first one to lead men out to fight and die, while they sit up there and after everybody get through dying, sit up here carrying Master's water. You get what I'm saying? So it's nowhere in the world that Trump can sit up there.
Toto Kisser, sorry to interject, but since you brought that up, have you been keeping up with the Diddy case a little bit?
Oh yeah, I was with it from the.
But that's another show though, because when you brought that up, I'm thinking of the Kid Cudi and Diddy situation.
You know I'm ready when you bring it up, because I said it all from the jump how it was gonna go down when everybody thought it was gonna be some more people dropping, and then I had to explain how the feds work. If there was other people gonna be charged, they would have charged them all together with a RICO. That would have made the case stronger, because they could have offered each one of them a life sentence and then get each one of them start telling. It's just the way the feds work their game. But anyway, we'll get to that when you do your next show. And a lot of information came out, so it'll be a good one with more information. But when we get back down to this, you hear these British talking females talking about how can America be embarrassed when we the number one superpower? Everybody coming, like you know what the difference between the African man and the African in the diaspora and the women, that all of them keep white cock in their mouth. You get what I'm saying? They can't wait to sit up there and kiss white people's ass. You know what I'm saying? Now they get online and talk shit. I have seen it for myself. Don't nobody kiss white people's ass more than the African. You get what I'm saying? But they'll sit on the line and talk about a billion. It don't matter even if it was goddamn Joe Biden, sleeping Joe Biden. They still rich and run the world. They still come together and goddamn make sure we don't have it. But we sit up online and sit up there and crack jokes on people that sit up here that's goddamn billionaires that practice nepotism. We the ones that don't practice nepotism. We the ones that want to keep every naira and every dollar to ourselves. We the ones that don't want to share the wealth. We the ones that don't trust each other. And the funny thing is, Dinus, white people don't trust each other. But you know what they do? They get in a room together and they come up with all these Magna Carta, with all these type of paperwork and agreements. You get what I'm saying? To sit down and be like, listen, we don't like each other, but we like them even less. You get what I'm saying? So we're going to make these strategies for us. Like you get a piece, I got a piece, everybody get a piece. But listen, we still got 13 aircraft carriers. We still got 16 destroyers. We still got 24 nuclear submarines. We still got F-35s on in every military base in the United States and across seas. If anybody want no problems, you can get it. And the funny part is that all the African leaders know that. It's a reason why that Africa looks the way it is, because you always look at these pictures that all over the internet, all on the memes, how everybody is eating off of Africa. And the people that's in charge, they don't mind because they living high off the hog. It's everybody underneath them suffers because they don't got the people that's in the crowd. The community used to living off $40 a month. $60 a month, $100 a month, going without electricity, blackouts, rolling blackouts, no clean water, no sewage, streets looking like shit. While the people in front, they living off the hole. They going to London to get their operations. They're going to England in the summer when it's hot as fuck and the mosquitoes is crip walking through Edo State. You get what I'm saying? They have a place where they disappear to. And you got these silly African Negroes that don't build shit, that sit up there and talk shit about what the African president did when he was coming over there to get some business. He want more investments in the city. He want more drones. What the hell? He was sitting up there acting like a fucking wild grass cutter running from the bush people, and that'll prove a point to some dumb people on the internet. Because that's how we is. You know, so we full of bravado, no investment. Full of bravado, no togetherness. Full of bravado, no type of cohesiveness. And I pass the mic, my brother.
All right, I think it's Ola. Go ahead, Ola. Then it's Sekou and Elvis.
Oh yeah, I think this is the first time I think I will agree with Same Police, the Toto Kisa. When I said
I be dropping diamonds, Ola, you better get with me, bro. You can hate me, but get with me.
You know, I got you, man. I agree with you. You see, that guy went for business. America is where the money, where South Africa is having their development, a lot of things from. He have to go there. And moreover, those white boys are citizens. You know, no matter what it is, those white South Africans are his own people. He must have to defend what is going on. What he did pretty good. He's not going to shout at the guy that's very powerful. That's where the money is coming from. The subsidy, a lot of things and everything. You know, so until the black man able to understand that it's about collectiveness, not about, you know, building some kind of shit that never really happened or is not going on. Yeah, we blacks are too many fists up, black power, we shout a lot, we have all kind of ideas, but the ideas actually not actually out. The white people don't talk too much. They don't smile too much. They just give you a blink in the eyes. You see the eyes shiny, lips a little bit tiny teeth. We're the only one we dance, we shout, oh, we're gonna do this. Julius Malema been shouting for how many years? For how many years? You want South Africa to be like Zimbabwe? It's not gonna happen. You know, until the whole thing. Mugabe that was shouting then was even far more corrupt than any other thing. He was having mansions and a lot of luxurious apartments in Hong Kong. Why some people are like shit all over there? You know, we don't want this kind of bravado thing. Nothing's happened. Nothing. Africa is really shithole. No matter anybody want to say it. Who is coming to Africa to look for a job? But these leaders can just pick $1 billion and take it to somewhere else and go and invest it somewhere. Keep it in a Swiss bank. You know, that's why we Nigeria will shout at our government, say, oh, you people have inferiority complex. No, we have the real complex. So we shout in the internet. These our leaders are corrupt. They ain't good for nothing. Most African, apart from South Africa, doesn't have house somewhere else because their constitution is very strict. You know, that's why I respect this guy from South Africa. Other African leaders, especially the West African ones, all these Eastern ones also, they're good. They're good for nothing also. You know, all those that call themselves, we're doing for ourselves. Or the Africa able to do collectiveness. At least Donald Trump brought the white people. They would have job in America. You think if America is not good, those white people will say, oh, I'm coming over there? No, because America is good. They have jobs there. They're going to be living good. Which of the African diasporas can come to Africa and say, let me settle down here, let me have a job, let me have my life. I'm tired of over there. This is my home now. It's not really existing. But we know what Africa will learn now is what Donald Trump is doing. Think about your people generally. Create job. Forget about big mansion. Forget about hiding this money in Swiss bank account that when you want to take it over, they say, oh, money laundry. Do you know a lot of Nigerian money will never come back to Nigeria? They let them bring them into London, take them out, say problems. Oh, how do you bring it? Oh, money laundry. Now you have to face the law now. You know, most African leaders are corrupt. They ain't do no shit, bro. Very, very corrupt. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Sekou. Then after Sekou, it's Elvis. Go ahead, Sekou.
Yes, peace and blessing to brother Prince Dino Amir. Thank you for letting me speak, and greetings to the panel. Happy Africa Liberation Day to everyone. Today is May 25th. And that is very interesting. On African Liberation Day, we are having this discussion. There's a book, I hope most people have read it, called White Malice, written by Susan Williams. How the CIA and the cover recolonization of Africa. So how these people, at early as 1958, when Kwame Nkrumah organized the first All-African Conference, where the theme of that conference was Hands Off Africa, where he articulated very clearly the destiny of Africa if we do not unite and have a common front and build a common army and economy, that the plan of the West is to come back to destabilize the continent and install puppet leaders who will have blackface and who will call African leader, but in reality do not represent the aspiration and the vision of the African people. And unfortunately, such leaders were removed, overthrown by the same United States. And today, the puppet leaders are in power. And I'm hearing people on this panel saying things without actually looking at the historical perspective, how we got here. If you are discussing what happened in the White House, I'm not hearing you describing how the man who called himself president of the United States showed a fake picture from the Congo to indict a country for white genocide. How the white supremacy propaganda is actually used to destroy and destabilize country through lies. How are you guys not talking about it? This is how the weapon of mass destruction, fake news, was used to destabilize Iraq. This is the same way they use and call people dictator in Africa and destroy their country. The Mugabe that the brother just mentioned, as if we don't know how Zimbabwe economy was sabotaged and destroyed by the West through their propagandistic way of doing things, this gangsters way of ruling the world. And people are trying to just talk just because they can yell and talk anyhow. What we are dealing with is a system that has tried over the last 500 years to destabilize the continent. And we as a people are not clearly able to see the difference between patriotic African leaders and those who are placed there by the same enemies of Africa. Most leaders on the continent today, West Africa, you just mentioned Nigeria. You and I know the current president of Nigeria is an asset of the CIA. You know that. You know that he was a drug dealer in the United States, and they brought him because they had a case on him. They made him governor, and he's still an asset. As we speak, even the government, U.S. government, trying to release documents on him, and they were able to intervene and stop it. These are all assets that are placed in our country.
Sekou, real quick. So you're saying those documents, they were supposed to be released a couple of weeks ago. They never
They were
were?
redacted. They stopped it.
Oh, wow.
They didn't release it. They didn't release it because he's an asset. They wanted him to do something. When he refused, then they act like they want to release it. Then once he complied, they don't release it anymore. These are not leaders of Africa. These are agents of the United States and the West who are leading our country. And we have to be clear about that. The true African leaders are either killed, they are either removed, or through coup d'etat. Just look at Burkina Faso. What does that little boy have that they want to go after him? Just because he proclaimed autonomy, he wants to be free. It's just because he's saying, I don't want to roll with the system. I want to be free and independent. So this is what I'm telling people. There is no difference between first world country and third world country. It doesn't exist. What exists is sovereign nation, country who are sovereign, have sovereignty, and country who don't have sovereignty. The problem with African country is lack of sovereignty. Its lack of sovereignty is that's why anytime you have a leader who wants to be sovereign, they sabotage your economy, they destroy you, and this is what they've been doing, using African sellouts among ourselves. So let's elevate the discussion. It's not about Africans are incompetent or they can't do this. We are having a war at our hand, and we don't realize that we are dealing with a people who are at war with us. Donald Trump demonstrated very clearly that he represents white interest. He talked about white genocide that doesn't exist, but he denied Gaza genocide that we all see on TV. But he invite people to the White House to discuss a white genocide that does not exist. And he's able to give white people a refugee status. How many South Africans, when did the government of the United States invite people to South Africa to give them a refugee status during the apartheid regime? America supported the apartheid regime. America funded the apartheid regime to kill black people in South Africa. Are we not aware of that? This is not a country that supports freedom. This is not a country that supports people's freedom around the world. They are sponsor of the president of the United States just took picture in Qatar with an Al-Qaeda leader of Syria. The man who was on payroll, who was bounties on his head. An Al-Qaeda and a renowned Al-Qaeda leader. Now he's the head of the Syrian government, and they take picture with him. They are not fighting terrorism, they fund terrorism. It's only when you go against their interests that they attack you. So what I'm trying to say here in a nutshell is that we are at war, and we've not won the war yet. We are at war with the West. We are at war with white supremacy that are trying to destabilize African countries. That's the reality.
All right, let me pass
Have you ever heard of the enemy of the enemy is my friend, Suku? Have you ever heard of that?
You told okay, so let me do this. Let me pass it to Elvis and I'll pass it back to you. Go ahead, Elvis.
I got you.
Yeah, go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Diners. Hello to the channel, the panel, and hello to chat. You know, I just wanted to come in and push back on this Ramaphosa slander because he's shown his bona fides. He's a bona fide fighter against white people. Cyril Ramaphosa is a lawyer from South Africa who was the secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers in South Africa. He was the chief negotiator as a lawyer for the end of apartheid. He's shown his bones. He's earned his bones in the fight against apartheid in South Africa. He fought the whites. He helped unionize the mine workers. He made hundreds of millions of dollars, you know, from mining. It's worth like $300 million. He's a man who's made it in the face of white, you know, oppression in South Africa. So he's no coward when it comes to white people. You just have to do a little digging to see who this man is. When you leave your role as an activist, as a freedom fighter, and you become a leader of an entire nation, and you learn diplomacy, and you learn how to be a diplomat and how to engage in international relations, you know it's uncouth to go into a meeting. You're not talking to just an individual, you're engaging an entire nation. So it's not about Donald Trump. He can't come as a lawyer, as a learned man, and try to spar with Trump and try to make, embarrass him or try to make fuss with him in his own house. Can't do that. It's undiplomatic and it's unstatesmanlike for him to do such a thing. So he says something in that conversation that a lot of people miss. He said we would discuss this more at the quiet table. And what that means is this is just a photo op. Usually you come, you sit, the press will ask a few questions, you do you take pictures, it's an official visit, and then they go behind closed doors and they have real discussions. And they get into the nitty-gritty of whatever discussion they wanted to have behind the scenes. So this is what Trump wants to do. He knows he did it with, Zelensky. Maybe he had a bone to pick with him because of that call that got him in trouble his first term, whatever the case may be. But he did nothing wrong. Now, Ramaphosa on the continent has been making inroads. The issue with the Congo, he's trying to mediate between the Congo and Rwanda. He's taking a leadership position on the continent. Obviously, he's a man who understands how the global, power structure work, the world order, how things work. And as Africans, we're at the bottom, militarily, economically. We're not at the top. So we have to be strategic in how we approach these things. He's not a military man. He's not coming out there to try to spar with Trump. He's a businessman. He's a legal-minded man, and he's using his diplomacy to get what he wants and trying to diffuse international tension between the two countries. So as intellectual people, we should understand these things and deeper below the surface and see who he is as a man, what he's done in his life. He's fought against white apartheid in South Africa. He negotiated the end of apartheid. He helped unionize the mine workers, which was the backbone of the South African economy. He also utilized the mines to gain wealth for himself, which is also a good thing. He became the Secretary General of the ANC, catapulted him to the vice president. He became president of South Africa. He's a shrewd man. He's no idiot. He's no fool. This is a smart black man. And simply because Trump wanted to be a bully, shouldn't take away from his life work. And we should give him the respect that he deserves. Do a little history on him, and you'll be impressed by the work that he's done in South Africa. So I'll pass the mic. I just want to give you a brief history of who
Did
the
you
man
make
is.
my turn now?
No,
We've
it's
gone around.
no. It's the Toto Kisser. Go ahead. Then I pass it to
No,
you,
but
Alpha.
you spoke already,
Well, my
Dennis.
question was to
I told him he could speak after Elvis, and I'll pass it to you. Go ahead, Toto Kisser.
but it's going to be short. The question was to Sekou. I hope that's your name. I'm saying it right. Correct me if I'm wrong. But have you ever heard of the enemy of the enemy of my enemy is my friend? That's to you, Sekou.
Yeah, I heard that, but it's that philosophy need to be elaborated. I don't believe in it like that.
Well, look at it like this. Like, say for instance, the United States is watching over every country, every province in the world. So they'll put the pressure, like you gave the Syrian president. They put the pressure on him, put a $10 million bounty on his head. So he became president. So say if it's the CIA, like you say, anybody say, well, you know what? We'll take this $10 million bounty off your head. We won't send these F-16 at you. We won't send these Army Rangers. We won't send the Delver dogs after you. You get what I'm saying? But when we need you to do this, when we want to sit in our secret missions, when we want you to do something for us, then you do it for us. You get what I'm saying? And you know what? If you do these killings, you do these, reconstructions and destabilizing for us, you know what? You know, that $100 million worth of aid that we were sending to South Africa, now we'll send it to you. Matter of fact, we'll wait for one of your parades or one of your celebration that you have, and then we'll drop one of these aid packages over there to you. You get what I'm saying? That's how you conduct business. Everybody knows that America is for white people. We all know that. That's the difference. While we live in the belly of the beast, and we know how they act. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, even as black people, we're a part of that. We're a part of the rat race in the United States. That's why we think the way we think. It ain't that we look up the white people. We know how they are. We're the participants in the whole system of white supremacy, but we reap the benefits too. You know what I'm saying? We got even the poorest black person in America got access to central air and heat, clean water. You get what I'm saying? Air conditioning. Every American does. If somebody want to live on the streets of cool, it's because they want to. They got welfare. They out on Skid Row where Diners can attest for it right now. That's why I'm glad you passed the mic to me, Diners, because I was coming to you with it. Even on Skid Row right now, they give those people $300 to $400 a month for food. Give them access to shelter where they can go take a shower. They choose to stay out there because they get benefits. They have people come out there and feed. They got organizations that come out there and feed them every day. Not just one group of people. They have 20, 30 different groups that get grant from the government to feed these people. So we understand that the government is looking out for white people. So we're not tripping on the 59 white people that he brought up here. We don't care. Donald Trump could have got up there and said nothing. He wasn't trying to prove nothing to South Africa. He wasn't trying to prove nothing to Africa anyway. He was just trying to get the point over to Americans that we finna bring some more white people over here after he's got this police patrol of trying to kick all these immigrants out. That's it. He ain't trying to prove that to another country, because at the end of the day, a lot of people's in the chat, Diners, they were saying how China is up. China industry is like 17 trillion compared to America's 39 trillion. You get what I'm saying? 49 trillion. At the end of the day, China needs us. I said it one more time. China needs us to buy their expensive good. The Samsung TVs he's selling the most in the United States. The Samsung refrigerator, I got one right in my goddamn kitchen, and a Samsung stove. American buying those things at $1,500, $1,800 a piece. Nobody else is buying those. The Samsung S25, the S24, the most expensive Samsung phones are sold here. You get what I'm saying? So that's for, it doesn't matter whatever they traded over there to Africa, they trade in the bootleg shit, the little small little Shein, the shit that you can get off Shein or what. Hey, Don's with that other app, that cheap Chinese app, cheap Temu. That's the type of shit, because you have to have the people have to make at least $35,000 to $45,000 a year to afford a certain grade. I work in transportation. You get what I'm saying? So it's a different level of product that goes to different countries. The stuff that come over to America, you ought to see it coming off the trains in the ship. That shit wired down, you know what I'm saying, locked and everything. The shit that's going to other country had like a little plastic seal on there. Maybe some motherfucking plastic chairs or something. The stuff that come to America is guarded. You get what I'm saying? So when you talk about trade, you got to understand the type of trade, the type of money of the trade is different ships for different trades. And I pass the mic, Diners.
Go ahead, Wildflower.
Yeah, hi. Thanks again. I just want to clear up something, just a couple of things. I can hear some noise in the background. The thing about what China is, China's trade with America, it's actually not as important as it has been portrayed. Most of China's exports are going to Southeast Asia, and that is why when America put on those tariffs, China was like, go ahead. We only trading at least 7% or 47%. So China just needs Southeast Asia, and America's been trying to ruin that relationship, but China's got that secured. So if China was to lose America, they'll be fine because they could make that up within their own country, and they've got Southeast Asia. So this idea that China needs to sell its things to America, that has also been shown to be a lie. And it's quite funny because Donald had to come back and say, oh, actually, I'm going to remove the tariffs because it's Americans that are going to suffer. And I actually want him to bring back the tariffs on China so I can watch America crumble. But anyway, on another thing about the previous gentleman talking about how, he lives in a belly of the sorry, my daughter came into the room. So how he lives in the belly of the beast and he's happy to enjoy the spoils of war because America goes around the world exploiting this is the kind of little example of European mindset. They left Europe, they went to a land that was inhabited by innocent people living their lives, and they took their caveman way and took over that land. And they've never stopped being who they really are, which is exploiters, stealers, pillagers, looters. That's the core of their identity. And it's been going on ever since they left Europe. And for somebody to say, you know what, I live with these thieves and I'm just happy for it to continue because I get a few crumbs. I will actually feel embarrassed to say that, to be part of that.
To be honest with you, right? Look, you
I
say what you
haven't finished.
want.
I haven't finished. I did allow you to speak.
You know what? Look,
I have not finished. I did allow you. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish because it's not your turn.
Let me stop you right
No,
there.
allow me to finish.
Because you're making an
Allow me to
assertion
finish.
about
I've
my
not
people.
finished.
We haven't been interrupting each
Allow
other
me
on
to
the show.
finish.
Let the lady finish.
Dennis,
Wait your
can you
turn, Tyler.
can you mute?
And we're not going to sit here and apologize.
Tyler, wait your
Dennis, can you
turn,
mute him?
brother.
Because I haven't
Okay,
finished my point.
Wildfire, you got 30 seconds. Hold on. Wildfire, you got 30 seconds. I passed you, Kyle. You got 30 seconds.
Yeah. Why are you living in the belly of the beast, enjoying the crumbs, the exploit, and the thievery that America clearly does? America does that all over the world, not just to Africa, wherever they can exploit. You're happy with a clear conscience to enjoy that. You show no shame. That means you're guilty by participation. You're guilty by association. So you are glazing him, and you're happy with the thievery. That's really quite embarrassing.
I'm not happy with it.
No, you are, because you're not pulling it out because you benefit from it.
Let me pass the mic. Go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, I don't have to boil my water. I'm happy.
Itself to be enslaved. It took millions of children off the continent, never gave us a pathway back, right? So Africa wants to do all this stuff like that and neglect it. Trump-Ramaphosa could have came here. He should have been flanked by the top businessmen in Black America. That's what he should have had behind him. He should have went and said, I'm going to bring my people in America to the White House. Trump would have never have done that stuff if he had formidable Black HBCU heads and all these people around.
You was cooking, Carla.
He saw a weak African man begging for friggin' something like that. He should have said, look, and also let me say this, Dennis, right, before I jump off. No serious person, everybody knows Donald Trump don't give a fuck about white South Africans and Jersey. He don't believe that, right? This is all about
He's a pan-European. He does care. He's a pan-European.
No, you don't understand.
That's why he's got so many white South African billionaires funding him. Come on.
You're emotionally ignorant, right? This is all about South Africa.
I'm not emotional. He's got white South African billionaires that have been funding him, not just Elon. Come on.
It's about South Africa realigning itself globally. South Africa is friends with Iran. South Africa is friends with Russia. Who knows? Maybe it could be North Korea.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Israel. All these
What's
things.
wrong with
That's
that?
what this is all about. And South Africa is a leading country in BRICS. That's what this is all about. It has nothing to do with no damn. That's a smokescreen. The white South Africans, This white. I'm not gonna even entertain that. That's not even for this. Like anybody who says are laughing at you if you think this is what this is about. They don't care. Donald Trump don't give a fuck about no white South Africans. Are you kidding me?
No, he does. He's been talking about it since 2016.
No, but hold on. That's a distraction because you don't know nothing. You're a woman.
Tyler, he took actions to bring them to the United
Carla,
States.
you are distracted in your head. That's the problem.
He took actions to expedite their immigration to the United States.
To embarrass South Africa.
Yeah, they came without going through a process.
They didn't have to because he labored them. Go ahead, Carla. Go ahead, Carla.
To back off Israel, tell South Africa back off Israel, and get rid of leave Putin alone and get rid of BRICS. That's what this is about.
Now, this is the thing. If I just like how you talk sometimes when you said like he did some type of expediting process. All he did was label them as a refugee. He did the same thing that y'all Democrats on the plantation that Obama could have did. Obama could have did the same thing, but he didn't. He was too busy sitting up there worrying about faggots and punks.
Exactly.
That's what
We're
that
ready.
was
Obama
what.
would have settled Liberians in there.
That's what I'm saying.
Stop talking about Obama. Let's talk about Trump
So
now.
what I'm saying is that a white man that's sitting up here looking out for white people is not a shocker to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm more concerned about how black people ain't looking out for black people. You get what I'm saying? I'm never shocked when a white person, Dinus, are you ever shocked when a white person do something for white people?
No.
You get what I'm saying? Like you should expect that. You know what I'm saying? Just because they pat you on your back and rub you on your head when you want to be a guard dog for them, just like that big husky hyena, that wig wearing Congresswoman that sit up there fighting, Dinah, sit up there fighting and got charged for sit up there fighting for some goddamn Latinos. You know what I'm saying? Trying to sit up there talking about she want to make sure they got access to phones. You ain't seen now one of them congressmen, especially when in the city that they live in, Dinah, in Newark, New Jersey, one of the ratchetest drugs where they own them hard drugs up. I'm talking about on that boy. Like you talking about black people on meth and fentanyl on the streets of Newark. They ain't went to the county jail while the black people worrying about do they got access to phones and clean beds and clean surroundings, worried about dudes getting shanked up every day. They went to a facility that ICE had just opened up 30 days, Dinus. 30 days of opening. You got the white dude. You got the guy.
One second. Sorry to cut you off, Toto, because you just brought up a great point. None of these black Democrats have brought up anything about Tory Lanez. What happened to him? But they're more worried about
exactly.
Not one word they have got to do. But they get on these big booger wolf Stacey Abrams stunt doubles getting up here fighting for illegal immigrants.
Fighting a fucking ICE agent. She should be locked up for 10 years.
A federal, they charge her big booger wolf, goddamn Jerome Bettis neckline looking ass. I told you, bro, when it comes for fighting for another group of people, you sign black women up. You get what I'm saying? The black woman is the same woman that'll sit up there and talk shit about a white woman that go inside the beauty supply shop and say, you remember that white girl I was out there just arguing with? I want her hair to look like my hair. Can you give me that in 18 to 28 inch bundles? You get what I'm saying? That's what black women do. Fight for them. Catching charges for them. Ain't stood at not Nam City or county jail in the Diners. There are over 600 different county jails in the United States, and you saw a black politician, man or woman, stand out there and have a press conference about it. But let some goddamn illegal immigrants come walk they motherfucking burrito looking ass across, you know what I'm saying, across there. Now they out there talking about we want to make sure if they got access to lawyers and telephones. That's the type of shit we dealing with in America. That's the type of shit we dealing with in the black community.
Can we go back to the topic? Because I think it's kind of getting lost now.
Let's go back to topic. This guy is having issue with black women.
It's about the upholding of the Constitution.
Black
Not about the immigrants.
Yeah, can we get back to the topic because it's becoming conservative versus Democrat?
Let me pass it to Cato. Go ahead, Cato. It's your turn.
This is not a Democrat discussion or your black women
Americans
issue.
And the black community in general is every time we have a conversation about accountability for our opposition, and opposition as like white people, white imperialism, white supremacy, somehow we jump back down to like black women and black Democrats, right? We've already had the conversation multiple times about Democrats as a whole, not really supporting black people. So we already know what's up. I really don't understand the psychosis with the community, and honestly with black men, because black men are supposed to be the leaders. With holding ourselves accountable and holding the current administration accountable. Like, I do not understand. Maybe some people have like genetics that they share with a goldfish, but the topic is about the current administration. The current administration is Trump. The current administration is conservative. The current administration is Republican. So let's focus on the topic.
Don, is one not discussing the current administration?
No, all I heard was Democrat
No,
these
you were
black
jumping
women
on
that
black
Hold on for a
women.
second.
I
Hold on
don't
for a
know.
second. I'm asking the host. I ain't asking none of y'all up at the twerk monkeys. Was I just speaking about a current event that just happened 2 weeks
Bro,
ago?
you sound like ghetto Barney. You better pipe that shit down, bro.
Bro,
We
shut
not
your
doing
faggot
the
ass up.
antics. We
Shut
not
your
doing the
faggot
antics. You
ass
sound
up,
like
bro.
Barney,
Because
bro.
I heard how
You
you
sound like
talk
a
to other people, bro.
dinosaur.
You don't
You
get
sound
nothing
like you
up on
belong
me.
on
You just
PBS,
hey,
bro.
let me explain something to
You
you
need to
too.
calm that
And when
shit
you
down,
talking
partner. You
about
better
black
calm
building,
that shit
it
down.
definitely don't
Lower your
start with
tone,
a
bro.
faggot ass black
Lower your
man.
tone, bro.
It
He
don't start
Lower
probably
with
your
a
has a
tone.
faggot
white
black man,
girlfriend
bro.
Lower your
Don't
talking
care
against
tone. You
black
sound
nobody.
women.
like Barney, bro. You sound
Even the
mad
most
sassy.
even we're the most
You sound
dysfunctional
mad
people in
sassy,
the
bro.
United States. The one
You a
person we're not
pot-belly,
gonna listen to
neck-beard
is a
ass
faggot ass
weirdo.
black man,
And we can
a
hear it through the
a
phone, bro.
pillow biting black man.
Why are
That's who
you
we're
yelling
not
into the
gonna listen
mic?
to.
Lower your tone. Lower
I
your tone. Why
guarantee
you
you
yelling into
that,
the
bro.
mic? You
I
sound
guarantee you
feminine.
that.
You are a
So no
very
matter
feminine
what you
man.
say, it don't
Talking
matter if
about
you
me,
got the
bro.
cure
Why are
from
you yelling?
cancer. We don't want it from the
Lower
faggot
your
what's
ass
up with the
black
tone.
man.
Lower your
shouting?
tone, young man.
Yeah, that's
Go
what we're
back to
trying to tell
Calm
topic.
it
you, bro.
down.
Go
So
back
no
to
matter what the
topic.
fuck you
Calm it
saying.
down, Barney.
Like you want to sit up there in bed because
Calm
you're a
it down,
bottom.
Barney. Calm it
It
down,
must be
You're
the
a
Sesame
lead in
Street.
the water. I heard there
you're
was
a
a lot of
pillow
lead in
biting
water in
bottom.
America.
So that's why
Man,
you think that
I
you're gonna
really
beg
thought we
white
could
Bro,
have
people
a
for some
civilized
money and they're
conversation,
gonna
man.
give
It's
it to
going
Bro,
you.
you are
so well.
very
That's that.
detailed.
That's
I
that.
know what
That's
type of
that
porn you
I
watch,
heard
homosexual.
that
bro.
there was
That's
lead
that
in America
Look
in
how
the
homosexual
look how
disguise of being
detailed he is.
European.
We
DNA
know what
fuck
type of porn
boy.
he is.
Sis
All right,
ass.
guys, let's move on. Don, just pass the
You a
microphone.
down low
Nobody ain't gonna
chomo, bro.
ain't no white boy gonna give you nothing but some dick in your mouth, you fucking faggot.
You
Come
the
on,
one.
man. Come on.
He
All
the
right, we
one
gotta move on.
cooking for white people
We gotta
though.
move on.
Nah, this is
We gotta move
crazy.
on. Hey, we
You
gotta
see
move
how
on.
emotional he
We
get?
gotta move on. Let me
This
pass
is
it
the
back to
problem. No,
Colin.
Very
no, we gotta
emotional.
we gotta address his behavior though. This is the problem with the black community.
Let me
Men like
pass it.
that.
Hold on, I gotta pass it back to Colin. Go ahead, Colin. Colin, you there? Colin Genesis, you there? Okay, I guess he's not there.
Can I
How
speak
long
now?
is way to Chipotle?
Sekou speaking.
Go ahead, Sekou.
Yes, again, this is the distraction. Always, the last brother that spoke, he spoke my mind. Let it be just be on topic. This jumping on black women, Obama, and this all distraction, deflection. If there is a topic that we are discussing, very specifically, Trump administration, how they behave with Ramaphosa, their foreign policy, and black people's interest. How are we now going to black women accusing them? If you have a white girlfriend, just keep it to yourself. Stop insulting our women. So let's deal with the topic here. So for me, what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter if we are citizens. The citizenship of America or Canada or any of this country is for sale. Indians come. You saw Ramaswamy, who came yesterday, and his parents came yesterday, did not partake in any of your struggle. He became citizen. And then he was running his mouth that there is no racism in America. And the white American, we applauding him. So this is a citizenship that is defending your values and your life. Anybody can get it. Indians come yesterday, 2 days later, they are citizens of America. They probably got more privilege than you. So can we elevate the conversation that white supremacy is not in our best
Global.
interest? It doesn't matter if you are on the continent of Africa or you are a citizen of the United States. America is not in your interest. The Western values is not in your interest. This is the discussion. Indians come to America, they get citizenship, they get more privilege than
Even the
people who
white
have
South
been there for
Africans next.
500 years. It's a
So, hey,
fact.
so cool. What white Indians? What white Indian privilege? Just be specific when you talk. Don't be so vague. What
Vivek
privilege?
Ramaswamy, I gave you an example.
What Indian? That brother runs a goddamn biomedicine goddamn facility. What are you talking about?
Toto, you're just loud
Yeah,
and confused.
Sekou, I
Hold on, guys.
disagree with you on
Am I
that point.
correct? Am I correct? Ain't
This dude is
Ramaswamy a
so
billionaire?
Can you ask me a
loud
question
Can I
and
without
speak
yelling?
next? Because Toto's
calm it
just
No,
shouting.
down, bro.
I wanted to come in after
Toto,
Sekou, Donis, if you allow
But
me.
no,
Toto,
I'm
you
just
can
asking
ask
a
me a
question. I'm
question.
asking a question to the host. Dinus
Okay,
ain't
what?
Toto,
whatever his name is,
do
a
you want to
billionaire?
date Dinus? Why are you always talking to Dinus on the panel? You
Because
trying
he's
to go
the
on a date
host,
with him?
faggot.
You trying
Nobody
to go
want
on
to
a
talk
date
to
with
you,
him?
Stop
sugar
calling
boy.
Stop
people
pandering to
faggots.
Dinus. You a grown
Why is
man.
he
Stand
calling
on your
people
own two
names?
legs, bro. bro. It's disgusting.
Okay,
Stand on your
no,
own
no,
two
no.
legs.
You lay on your
Stop
stomach, sugar
pandering to
boy.
Zionist, bro.
Hey,
It's
Diana,
so
state
corny.
woman Swansea
Now
a
shut up for
billionaire?
5 minutes and let the intelligent people speak.
I think he had a pharmaceutical company. Like he's
Yeah.
almost a billionaire. Yeah.
Giannis,
So
can I
what I'm
speak
saying
after
is,
Sekou,
Shakur,
please?
what you said when Indians come over to the country, to the United States, what privilege they have that we don't have?
Indians, they're the highest earning group in America. Do you know that? Indians.
That's not a privilege.
Oh, okay.
That's not a privilege. That's a work ethic.
That's a work
Okay,
ethic.
let me
That means
tell
they're
you the
getting all the
privilege.
best jobs. They're getting all the best jobs.
Let
That's a
me tell you the
privilege.
privilege they have, since you think that
Yeah,
what you see on
tell
TV.
us.
Yeah.
Tell us,
So
Shakur, tell us.
okay, listen now.
We're
So
listening.
when it comes to housing, when it comes to job market, the white supremacy code is definitely going to put an Indian first in their application before you. You know that?
Exactly.
You don't. Yeah, you don't know
That's
that?
not
Man, you
true.
lost
Giannis,
your
let me,
mind.
can I come in here, Giannis,
Dinas, have
please?
you ever heard of some crazy shit like that, bro?
Oh,
No,
then
it's
you must be
true.
living under the rock.
He
must be
someone has a
living under the
point.
rock.
They were saying this was the issue in Silicon Valley. They did say that was going on.
If you talking about Silicon Valley, you talking about San Francisco, where
now
It's
changing the goalpost.
Let me say this.
The
where
truth has
black
to be
people don't
quiet.
even want to live over
Hey,
there. You get what I'm saying? You
let me
can't
say
even
this,
afford to
right?
live over there. But
Let me
what I'm
say
saying
this.
is,
point,
my credit score is an 824. I don't even have to sign a dime on to get anything I want. You get
all
what I'm
right.
saying? So
Let's
I don't know
let's
what y'all
not
talking about my
let's allow
privilege.
the people to
Credit
speak,
because they got
please.
the money though. They pay.
No need to fight and be talking over each other. The point that Sekou was making, I just want to push back a little bit. And respectfully to you, my fellow Liberian brother Sekou, you live in Canada. You don't live in the United States. Vivek Ramaswamy.
Hold the fuck up. He don't even live in America.
Hold on, Sim Police, 1 second. Vivek Ramaswamy is a Harvard Yale graduate who got into pharmaceuticals, made a lot of money, worth over $300 million. He did it based on his own intelligence, his academic, prowess. He didn't get any special privilege because he's Indian. The Indians are studious people. We know that they come into this country, they work hard. Just how Nigerians tend to,
So
tout about
black
their.
Americans don't work hard. Are you saying?
So black Americans are
that's-
lazy, eh?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Just listen to what I'm
Okay.
saying, please.
Yeah, but what's your point? Did I tell you that he did not work hard?
Listen to what I'm
Wait. You are
saying. Why we have to
straw
argue,
man.
bro? I don't want to
Let me
argue. I
correct.
just
No,
want to
you
make
are
my
doing a
points
straw
and
man.
pass
This
the
is
mic.
straw man.
Relax.
Straw man argument.
Sekou,
Why
I
are
hear
you
you,
making
brother.
a point I did not make? I said
Sekou,
he
I
said.
hear you.
No, listen. Let me clarify.
No, Sekou, you passed the mic. I'm on the mic, brother. Let's not do that. I don't want to be aggressive.
Man.
I just want you to let me speak, and I'll pass the microphone
How
back
is
to
it a
you.
straw man?
Yeah, but that's a straw man argument. I said
straw man argument.
the straw man argument. I did not say that.
Hold on. How is it a straw man argument when you clearly use Ramaswamy as an example?
Yeah, but the example I use, he said, let me explain. He said racism does not exist in America. That's what he said. Does that represent your experience as a black person?
I'm only responding to your point that Indians get special privilege in this country.
No,
and I'm telling you, Sekou, hold on, bro. I'm telling you, based on the statistics, right? Indian Americans, they attain higher education, usually in technology or in medicine. They are highly successful and highly educated. This is a fact. You can look at the statistics and the numbers. I'm telling you that these guys are not even the ones who are complaining about affirmative action, even though they're considered Asians, but it was usually the Chinese and the other East Asians, that was complaining about affirmative action. Well, we know that Indians perform highly when it comes to education and earning in this country. We know that. So I'm not saying that I'm not trying to cast anything that you said down. I'm just telling you that factually it was incorrect, because an Indian guy is classified technically as a Caucasian. That was a case that happened a long time ago in this country, and they're classified as Caucasian.
They're not classified as Caucasian.
They are.
And no, not in the United States. In the United States, they specifically tried to pull that, and it didn't work. Indians are not. India is part of Asia, first of all. They tried to make some argument based on the Caucasus Mountains and Aryan heritage, but that did not fly in America. But
Indians are Aryan people.
To bring it back to the original,
They are not Negro people.
I think
they are
that
Caucasians.
some of the nuance.
But the point that I'm making here is that before I pass the mic to you, brother, the point that I'm making is The point
Can I
that
speak?
I'm making is, look, we was having a good run. We wasn't arguing. We was quiet. We let everybody speak. Let's try to continue that run. Let's intellectualize the conversation. No need to fight. This is a African Liberation Day. We should be united as African people on the platform, and let's
No,
have a good day.
I agree, Elvis. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that in general, immigrants are going to perform
Your
better
sister
than the
ass can't even
minority
agree to let the
of
man finish
of
talking,
a
sugar
of a
boy.
nation.
It's okay. I passed the mic. Let
Toto,
Diners
you're
give it to
always
whoever he
Elvis,
wants to.
Elvis,
you're like 12 years old, bro.
I don't
Shut up.
agree with you.
You're a
Elvis, I
grown
don't
man
agree with
named
you on
Toto. Just shut
99% of the
up,
time.
bro.
But you ain't
Shut
got to
your
give away your
large
time
lip
because
ass
somebody
up, bro.
interrupted
Stop
you,
It's
bro.
twerking your
okay,
lips.
bro.
God
Let's
damn,
not
bro,
Twerking your
be in
lips,
a
fine,
fun
bro.
bro.
mood today, man. Let's be in a
Stop twerking
But
liberated
your
what I'm
lips.
mood for
saying is,
Africa.
dog, you don't have to goddamn
Toto, you
lapdog.
are so
You see that
emotional. How
they
can you call
interrupting you
yourself
and
a
talking
man?
all over you,
How
bro. You
can
ain't got to be no
somebody so
lapdog to
emotional
them, bro.
call themselves a man, bro? Be quiet.
But you
Please be
ain't a
quiet.
man. You like boys.
Please be quiet, bro. You keep
You like
talking. Shut
boys,
up.
boy.
Start your own podcast.
Oh
Boy,
my
I
You
got
God.
you,
really like
like
the sound of
silly
your own.
clown.
Anyway,
That's the
Elvis, what I'm
difference
trying
between
to
me and
say
you
is
fucking sugar
typically
boy.
immigrants are going to perform better than the minority in the nation that they're visiting. So if we look at Black Americans, when Black Americans go to Ghana, when Black Americans go to India, whatever, we're typically performing better than the average native population or the minority. So, like in general, we see immigrants
I
outperform
wasn't
specifically.
comparing it to African Americans. I'm just saying that when they come into this country, they do well in those areas, in education, in high earning. Relative to African American, their numbers are small. There are more African American doctors, I'm sure. They're higher, overall as a group, African Americans are doing well. So
And
I'm
you
not. I'm
forgetting
not.
one thing, Elvis. You
Can
forgetting
I
one
speak
thing.
now?
You forgetting the part about that they take up the hospitality. They gotta already block with the hospitality. That's why they can get those loans because they can get those hospitality. They own up damn near all the Ramadas definitely in Georgia and mostly all the Econo Lodge. You get what I'm
And
saying?
they
Where they use these
and days in.
and days in. You get what I'm saying? So
Can,
they already have a block. So when
And
they
most
come over here, they got these places where they can go work and send their family members to go work at. They're never asked out. That's why you don't see them at the. That's why you don't see them at the welfare office of the state begging white people for money. You get what I'm saying? Because they'll go to these hotels and sleep there and work there. You get
So,
what I'm
so
saying?
you agree, right? Simply that they don't get special privilege. They just work hard and they have
That was
a
what I
equal
said.
system.
That was my whole point. They don't get special privilege. It was them trying to say that these people that don't even live in the United States talking about what they get. You get what I'm saying? They already have a block. It'll be the same way with you, Elvis. If the Liberians have a chain of restaurants or a chain of grocery stores, then when you come, you know what I'm saying? They like, okay, your family can work here. We can see what y'all can do. And then when y'all branch out, but we still sticking by this block. They have a block here. You know what I'm saying? We're the black people, we're the only ones that don't have a block. Even the Latinos don't have a block. Within 3 years, Dinus, am I correct? The Latinos have took over the landscaping business and the construction business. That is a multi-billion-dollar business, Elvis, right here in Georgia. They have took over the landscaping and the construction. So that means that when a Latino come over here fresh off the goddamn burrito boat, he can start making $700 to $1,000 out here doing landscaping, and then they teaching them. They're teaching them at the
But
construction site.
I hear you, Simple. I wanted to ask Sekou, what make you think they get special privilege, Sekou?
From Canada. With love.
Are you there, Sekou?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I wanted to
So
ask you, what make you think they get special privilege?
yeah, there I work in the social service work, and I said because one of them just say I'm in Canada, so therefore I don't know what's happening in the United States. That's false. We have all the data here. We follow exactly what's happening in America because we have similar system here, and the Indians system privileges is also on this other side as well. How it works, first of all, let me tell you, when it comes to, let me do it first in the international student level. The number of Indian students accepted in America and other places in higher institutions is relatively higher than any they will accept in a black country. Check the statistics. They will accept more Indians to come into higher institutions. They will accept less black people from countries that are black. Relatively, India will get higher number, higher slot. Two, when they get into the country, even in terms of looking for basic social things like housing, an Indian application, a black application, because we work in the social service field, we know exactly what is happening. The Indian is given a higher privilege, even for job. When you apply with an Indian, they are likely to give it to an Indian, not because he's intelligent than you. You can even go in the same class, attend the same course, graduate the same time, apply for the same job. A white company is likely to take an Indian over you. If you don't know that, you live under a rock.
It
That's all I'm
happens here in
telling you.
the UK as well.
You live under a rock because you don't.
Just hollering shit out. You hollering shit out with no facts, no statistics, or nothing. The reason why Indians can get a loan application
because they are
because
intelligent,
they have co-signers. Elvis, listen, man, this is real simple stuff. Most black people in America does
Bro,
not have
what
a
did you study?
co-signer.
Where do
get
you
what I'm
work?
saying? Like the one thing that I know about white people, Elvis, is that they'll co-sign for their kids. You know what I'm saying? They'll go, even if they go under, they'll co-sign for their kids' cars, they'll co-sign for their
But
kids'
he's
houses.
talking about in the workplace, not just by getting
Well,
loans, right?
in the workplace, if that was the case, man, it'll be people off the chain, goddamn, complaining about that shit. I ain't never heard a black person, even black male or a black female, that say, "Hey, I didn't get this job because of an Indian." Never heard that before in my life.
Okay,
Sekou, I'm not telling you that there's not implicit biases when it comes to interview.
These
We know
biases
as black.
exist.
Hold on.
I'm coming because let me
I hear
finish
you,
my
brother. You
point.
gave your long
Because this, I'm
explanation,
sorry.
and I
Let me
was
just lay
quiet.
my point down because
No,
some people
let me
just
get 10
yell.
seconds to respond, Sekou. Relax.
Okay.
I heard what you said, right? As a black man, we know how it is sometimes when you go for job interviews and you're competing against people who are non-black. And sometimes you might think that that's going to affect you, right? And sometimes it does.
It happens.
I know it does. Like I said, sometimes it does. But in other instances, it's about your resume, right? It's about your background, your educational background. And sometimes, I guess I will give you this point, that the perception of Indians, not because they're of a different race, but the perception that they're some of the smartest people, they tend to have a higher, education, a ceiling. They're very academic. They're very smart people. That might give them the edge based on the historical, stereotype of them. But I think
who gave them that perception and stereotype?
Because it's performed that way in this country for many years. Many hospitals, when you go to many hospitals, you will see a lot of Indian, doctors.
Okay.
You see a lot of people.
Let me give you a historical
At the Mayo
background.
Clinic in Rochester, the chief surgeon there is an Indian guy. So
Okay,
I mean, they do have a history in this country, in Silicon Valley, in the
because
medical
you don't
field.
know, all those positions they occupy,
they have a history there.
Do you think Black Americans
Well,
do
you
not
know what's
have the
crazy
intellectual?
is somebody from another country.
Comparing them with Black Americans. I'm just saying, just
somebody from
focusing on
another
them.
country is telling us about America.
Let me tell you,
It kills
I
me.
think you have. Let me tell
No,
you because this
need
is
to
a
tell us
global.
about America. How about you tell us about Canada?
Let me.
talking a lot about
How about you tell us about Canada?
Can somebody shut that brother up a little
No,
bit?
how
He's not
about you
yelling.
tell us about Canada?
So, okay, let me speak. Brother, calm down. Your phone is not far away from you.
No, I'm just asking you a question. Why you telling us about America? Tell us something about Canada where you live at.
So let me give you, let me go back in and explain to you what I'm trying to say, how the global white supremacy operates.
No, man, we don't need the goddamn drawn out history of it. You know what I'm saying? We don't need the drawn out history of white supremacy.
Let him speak, please. Let him speak a little
We
bit.
already know about it. Listen, telling us about white supremacy as if we don't know. If anything, you need to tell the Africans about white supremacy.
To the panel.
Let
We
him
know
speak,
about
please.
white supremacy in the United States. How about you tell your African? How about you tell your African brothers
You are
about
African
white
as well.
supremacy?
You are African as well. Go drink some water and relax.
Because we
let me
know
finish
about
my
it.
point. So let me
We
finish
know
my
about
point.
it.
Yeah,
Tell us the history of white supremacy like we don't know it.
Go drink some water and just relax. And let me finish my point.
Hey, won't you go over there and cut down some trees in the Canada forest?
Toto.
No, this is
Go drink
deflection
some
now. You
water.
need to explain.
Then you
We want to hear about no goddamn
He's
history of white
deflecting.
supremacy.
No,
Like we
you
don't
have to
know it.
hear it. You don't want to hear it. You're getting
Like
triggered.
that's
Let
crazy.
Sekou explain. You're getting triggered, bro.
Let me
You're getting
finish. You're
triggered.
getting
Let
triggered.
Sekou explain.
You ain't in the
Diane, are
United
you
States.
still
Let
there? You
Sekou
can mute
explain.
that
I want to
guy.
hear what Sekou has to say.
Neither
You
one
gotta
of
mute
y'all
that
ain't in the
guy.
Come on,
United
guys.
You're
Let's
States.
like
have some
you're like a
decorum,
Neither one of
man.
professional
y'all
Hold
ain't in the
on.
journalist.
United States
Let him
talking about the
speak for
United
90
States.
seconds and then you can respond.
Talk about
Just calm
shut
it
your
down.
sis ass up. How about
Nah,
you gobble a dick for
Sekou,
90
let
seconds,
Sekou
boy?
speak.
Please, brother.
Hold
Let
on.
him
You do
speak,
not sound
please. Let him
masculine.
speak,
You don't have
man.
a
How about you
masculine bone in
gobble a
your
dick for
body.
90
You're
seconds without
emotional. You're
breathing, you
always
fucking
Oh,
yelling.
pillow
man.
You're always
fighting
sucking
faggot?
up
Sekou, you're
time.
getting
There's
Tony, you're
nothing
getting
Boy,
very
manly about
I
that.
upset.
don't
Don't
want to
get
hear
You're a
I don't
boy.
want to hear nothing from no faggot and two people that ain't from the
Toto,
United
you
States.
sound like one. You have an effeminate voice.
Okay,
Toto, you
one
have an
mic.
effeminate voice.
Okay, one mic.
I don't
All
know
right,
who he's calling faggot. I'm a married man with children.
Sekou, you got 30 seconds to tell us about white supremacy.
Yeah.
But can we
So
check Toto?
Dinah's
Because
I
I'll
will
smack the shit out this dude.
let's make a quick
Pound that shit
case
down.
study.
No.
Okay.
Let's Sekou, you got 30 seconds. Tell us about white supremacy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we need to just widen our understanding. Let's take a case study of what happened in colonial Africa, taking Uganda as an example when they were building the railway. What the British did was to bring Indians to come and be the middlemen between them and the African. Not that there were no intelligence Africans, but it's because of the racism pattern. The lighter, the more closer to the Caucasian race, the more closer they bring you to their privilege and class. So they brought India. No, let me finish. Let me just let you allow me to finish.
I'm the host. Shut up. And so what happened?
No, don't tell me shut up. You can say
Go. Go ahead.
that's those Liberians.
Okay, Dinah, so I want to say like this. Somebody brought up a comment about Vivek Ramaswamy. First of all, that's a myth about Indians being privileged in this country, right? If people knew anything, right, Indians work hard, but they work hard at third world standards. The Indian owner gas station, like I'll tell Hustle Smart, right? They'll be having a whole family living in that gas station. They'll own a motel. The whole family lives in the motel, sleeping on floors to make it work for 10 years. Black America basically is cursed with our standard of living.
Colin, let me say something real quick. All right, when the host says I'm interjecting, you be quiet. I'm the host. Ain't no talking over me. Ain't no blah 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 blah. Ain't no trying to talk over me. You be quiet. If you can't do that, you just leave. Period. Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, so you're right, Dice. I had to do the same thing on my show.
Yeah.
You
Ain't no going back and forth. I got something to say. You be quiet. If you got a problem with that, you leave. Go ahead.
Even
Colin.
as much as I talk, I'll still mute myself when you start talking.
Oh my gosh, shut up. He wasn't
Okay,
talking
what I
about
was
you.
saying was
Go ahead,
this,
Colin.
though. Now, back to the Indians, right? Indians work hard. They're good at tech, science, area, but I know a lot of Indians. I do business with them. You know, when they tell you the horror stories they had to go through, the poverty they live in, they say it's masked by the fact that people think they're the small minority. They said that's not true. A lot of Indians are suffering because one of the fastest growing illegal population in America is the Indian American community. They're living in the shadows, while they're doing tech. You know, so whoever said that the Indians got more privilege than black, that's not true. You come to Virginia, right? Black people here 400 years. Black America right here is like really powerful in here, the most dominant group here in America. We're even surpassing white people in many areas in Virginia. You know, so Indians are here too, but everybody basically knows, okay, black people here got numbers here in the eastern United States, the southeastern United States, places like Atlanta, places like Macon, Georgia, places like Charlotte, Charleston, South Carolina, Baltimore, stuff like this. Black America, right? So this myth about Indians coming with privilege. Next thing I'm going to talk about is Ann Coulter. Vivek Ramaswamy was when he was running for president. Went to Ann Coulter, and Ann Coulter, you remember Steiners? She said, "I would not vote for you." He goes, "Why? Because you're an Indian." She said, there was a sentiment among a lot of race white people said, I vote for a black man who has roots in this country before I vote for an Indian, you know? And now there's a comedian going around. Her name is, you got to check her out. It's called Leonardo Joni. She's a racist comedian, right? She says the Indians are coming over here using the HUV. We don't want your technology. And she was about Vivek. She was like, these people, America is a white country. Indians are not, I don't care what they have to offer. They're not going to replace us or be equal to us. It's defined as a European country. So when people say Indians got all this privilege over black people, white people know what they got with black people. They know they're always going to rule over us with no competition for them. You know, so when people make those stupid comments about Indians coming to America, like white people inviting all these non-white people to join and take away, white people feel like they're what they have is being taken away from them. That's why Donald Trump won this election.
Wait,
So
Kala, I
that's
think everything you said was completely valid, but like add some nuance to it. Do you think that Asian people might have different privileges? Like when they get stopped by cops, cops would probably feel more comfortable
well.
stopping an
Let
Asian
me say let
person.
me say this, right? You know the chance of you when black people stop, it's like 1 in like a billion. It's like when you see an incident with the police, black people interact with the police every day. It's like 1 in out of how many interactions Diners gets into a police incident?
And last I looked, it was 387,000.
Yeah, something like that, you know? And so therefore it's not like every time you see a cop, he's like beating. See, like I said, we gotta stop listening to this stuff
I
you
mean,
see online.
Kala, that's not what I said. I said when Asian people interact with the police because of their like their cultural association with being, more moldable or more manageable, do you think they have an easier time?
There's no, hold on. There's no more moldable or more manageable. It's just they don't commit crimes at the level that we do. Period.
That's true.
I'm just
When you
saying
go
with
to an
cultural
Asian
perception.
community,
Like I don't know
they
what
tend to be
like it's
well.
not. I'm
Now
not
I
trying to
would
trap
say
you with the
this though.
question.
I
I'm
will
just
say
saying, do
this
you think
with
that
Asian
Asians
because
have
in
unique privileges?
California you got Cambodian gangs and stuff like that, Vietnamese gangs. The one of them took out a cop, a couple of years ago, assassinated a cop. So the bottom line, it depends on what Asian community. If you're talking about just a regular Asian community living in suburbia, of course they're gonna have a good interaction with cops,
Yeah,
over a black person.
I
Indians
think we're
could be
being
very
dishonest if we
violent, but
pretend like a
usually they're
Chinese
very
person
violent
being
in their
stopped by
own
a cop is
country.
the same thing as a
They'll
black person.
kill you. They will kill you with machetes for eating beef in India. They will burn you to death, as an honor killing. But they're not
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
violent in the
Indians are
United
very
States, from what
violent
we've
Yeah, when they
seen.
come
country, but
over
they tend
here,
to
is
behave.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Come
yeah.
again. That's how they talk when they come in. But let me ask you a question, Diners. Have you ever saw a video of a Chinese person getting pulled over by the police, telling the police officer they ain't gonna give them their license and why you pulled me over and I'm
No,
right around the
no,
corner?
Exactly. They
I've
no,
understand
never seen a
authority.
video
no.
of a Chinese person getting arrested by the police in general. I honestly have never seen that.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I
You know
mean,
what
when you say
happens?
Chinese, you
Hold on.
mean
You know
East
when you see
Asian?
I mean,
Chinese get arrested?
I mean
They
I mean
Chinese
stole a
Asian.
pack of
specifically. I'm not talking about
cigarettes.
Indians.
They
I've never
stole a
seen a
beer.
Chinese
They stole a
or an
beer or a
Indian.
pack of cigarettes
When
from
you say Chinese,
from
I just want to know. I hate to say it. You mean like the yellow Asians? Are you generalizing them, or you mean a Chinese
No,
national
I
in
think you're
particular?
general. When I say Chinese, I mean Chinese. Like there's only one
Well, how would
China.
you know they're Chinese?
I haven't seen anybody looking vaguely like that being
That's
arrested.
what I'm saying. So
All right,
they're
all right.
among
I'll
I
the
mean,
give you
it's
Hmong
not what
people
you're
look
saying. If I
Chinese,
watched a video
and
of a
they
Chinese
have a
person
high
being
crime
arrested,
rate
they
in
would say
California.
Chinese
I'll
in the
give you an
video.
example. Several times in Virginia, right? Years ago, Chinese were getting arrested left and right here. Why? What they were doing? They were
Yeah.
not IDing people
In,
at the
in New York, the
store.
triads, they're quite
Yeah, we got
violent. They're a
triads here
gangster
too,
group, the
and stuff like that. So
Yakuza.
it happens all the time.
I mean, I'm
Asian
in New
massage
York
parlors be
too. I
busted
don't
all
think
the
the
time.
Chinese people get the same heat from the police as black people,
I
right?
just
Like,
ain't never. I have never seen an Asian person or a Chinese person arguing with police on the side of the road. I just
Black
ain't
people
never
bring
I
seen
it
mean,
it.
on
it's not
themselves.
about the argument. I'm talking about
No,
like
no, no, no. I didn't say
stopping,
it
That's where
stop
it
was.
and
stems
frisk.
I'm
from.
just saying
Let me
you
tell
Black
you
brought
something.
people
up
and
you brought up
How
Latinos
a
are
point
being
Asian
that
cops
stopped
you
and
said,
frisked.
and I
just
brought
shut
up a
up.
point that I'd never said. I've never seen an Asian person fighting with the police in the middle of the interstate. I've never seen one arguing with the police, and I
Or fighting
drive
with the
for a
police
living.
at Chuck E.
With
Cheese.
my
I just
brothers,
ain't
I'm
never
just
seen it
saying
before.
when we look at stop and frisk, right? The stop and frisk statistics,
And it's a good
black
thing.
people and
Stop and frisk is a good
Latinos
thing.
are going to be targeted way more than Asians, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I'm not trying
That's
to
a
make
good
a
thing.
moral judgment on it. We keep like I'm not trying to trap anybody in this panel. I'm just trying to have an honest
Well, I'm saying
conversation.
like this. Look. If you're living in a high crime area, right? If you got a lot of gangs going down, you're actually protecting the people with stop and frisk. So I don't say what the
Stop and
villains
Yeah,
say.
frisk by
the
and large
stop
is
and frisk.
ineffective.
The stop
The
and
average
frisk
stop, like
protocol is done
85 to
in the urban
90% of
areas.
stop and
They
frisk is
don't do stop
ineffective.
and
They don't
frisk,
just stop and
and
frisk any place,
they
man.
don't
It's
do
in the
stop
area
and
where the
frisk in
crime.
Long Island. They don't do stop and they
They
don't do
do
stop.
stop and frisk in the hood of Long Island. Long Island is huge.
No,
Like, what part of Long Island are we talking
what I'm
about?
saying is that they only do it in the urban area. It's just like diners stay in Atlanta in the West End. If you ride around the West End, they're damn near cameras. They got they call them flock cameras. They got cameras almost on every street, every corner, going around the curve. But then when you get on the outskirts, you don't see those cameras. They're gonna have more police protection. You're gonna be most likely to get pulled over, have some interaction with the police if you're in an urban area. That's the way it is. Like I'm saying, in my neighborhood, I ain't seen the police. I ain't seen the police out here in 6 to 8 months. But when I go back over there in the neighborhood that I live in, and within 2 or 3 minutes, I see a police just riding up the street, random police riding up the street every 3 or 4 minutes.
Exactly. I don't never see cops where I live at. Never.
That
I mean,
so
New York City,
it's
New York City as a whole is an urbanized area, and it has a lot of immigrants. I'm
And it
just
has a
trying
lot
to
of
say
crime too.
certain races have different privileges, right? Like Asian people
What
are
do you
seen
say
to.
privileges?
Well, when you say privilege, what do you mean, Kato? I'll tell you why.
What are you
Because
talking about?
I just don't understand how we're on a
okay, I'm
panel.
the host. I'm talking. Be quiet. Because so like here in Atlanta, I live in the West End, like the Toto gets to say. If you go right now on the corner of Lee Street and around there with Abernathy, Negroes is on the corner trapping, not being discreet about it. They out there selling dope
with cameras out there.
I don't see Chinese doing that. I don't see Asians doing that.
I think that's kind of a
you do not
deflection
see that.
from my main point. Like we keep jumping around from my main point. My main point is like the perception of a race changes how they are interacted with by other people. Like it's just crazy how we're on a panel full of black men, and it's hard for us to admit that Asians probably have an easier time with the police. Like I don't know.
Okay, I just gave you a reason why. Again, Negroes in my community, broad daylight, in the open, in Atlanta, in the West End. You go right now on the corner of Ralph David Abernathy and Lee Street are trapping.
Yes, some of the Negroes are trapping. The vast majority of Negroes aren't trapping.
And the vast majority of Negroes aren't interacting with police. Don't you get that?
No, most black people have had an interaction. Whoa. We gotta reel it back in. Most black people have had an interaction with the police. Most black people. Pause. Let me finish.
If you're driving
most
down the
black
road
people
and
will tell you that they had a negative and unjustified
you
interaction.
got marijuana
Hold on for a second, Colin. Hold on for 1 second, Colin. Colin, for 1 second. Where do you get that from when you say most black people have had an interaction with the police?
Statistically.
Tell me statistics,
bro.
I mean,
hold on, Colin. I want to do it his way this time. I want him to do it. I want to do it this way. I want him to do it his way this time. Show me the statistic that out of 45 million black people, that most black people have had an interaction with the police.
Yeah, I mean, I'll drop this. Pardon me. Stop talking so I can respond. I'll drop some statistics in the chat. But let me clarify my thing.
No. Go ahead and get it. No, you can drop it in the back chat right now.
Like,
we can pull it up.
You sound like a boy, bro.
No, hey, Dinah. Dinah, you usually the fact checking, man. Can you please tell me to drop a link to that statement, please?
When you interrupt me, you sound intimidated.
You see what I did?
Are you intimidated?
I just want you to drop the statistics.
When you interrupt me, you sound intimidated. Stop speaking while I'm speaking.
I just want you to drop the statistics.
Stop speaking while I'm speaking, Toto.
Coward ass shit. You always talking about some coward shit.
You sound like a coward when you interrupt people. Shut up for 90 seconds. Why is that so hard for you?
Drop the statistics that most black people have been in there.
Toto, how old are you?
I tell you what, you tell me where you get the statistics from.
I don't know why a grown man doesn't know how to have a conversation.
I'll pull it up.
Shut up.
I'll pull it up. Tell me where you get it from. Just tell me.
Let me speak, bro.
Okay, you gonna tell me where you get the statistic from?
Let me finish my entire statement.
No, I got you. But just after you say that, I promise I won't say another word
in the chat. But to clarify my original,
bro, just tell me where. You don't have to wait.
To clarify my original statement, most Americans are going to have an interaction.
Oh, now he's switching it up, Daddy.
I'm going to drop some. If you shut up, you'd hear the full sentence. Are you capable of are you autistic or some shit? Shut the fuck up. Thank you.
Tell that to your boyfriend.
So most Americans are going to have an interaction with the police. Now, if you rewind what I said, I specifically said Black Americans, most of us will have an interaction with the police. And I prefaced that by saying they will have a negative and unjustified experience.
Boy, you're a lot in the true fake. Your exact words. Hold on.
Black Americans are more prone to having negative interactions with the police.
No, his exact words was most black. His exact words was most black people have an interaction with the police, and if you ask them, most of them say they have some negative. Now he's switching it up, just like a true sugar boy.
No, that's exactly.
Yeah, they're more likely.
I don't know
to
how
have
you're
a negative interaction with the police.
It's more white people that have an interaction with the police than black people, dummy.
And most of them will be able to tell you they had a negative, unjustified interaction.
There's more white people actually killed by police in America than
Per
black
per
people.
capita, color black people are killed at a disproportionate.
Yeah,
No,
but
all
it
right, so
doesn't
I
matter.
don't know if there's
Majority
like
of
a
killings are white
reading
people.
comprehension problem or like a
No,
listening
it's
issue.
just a
So
faggot
let me say
comprehension
it
level.
slowly.
Cause you talk like a
Toto, I will
female.
smack the shit out you, bro. Calm
Boy, you
your voice.
won't do. You'll
Yo,
do
Toto, where you from?
everything over the
Toto, where you
internet.
from?
You do
Toto,
everything
where are
over the
you from?
internet, boy.
Toto, where are you from? Because you talk like a man. But I bet you won't
Toto
act like
sound
one if
like
I
a
see
man.
you in
He sound
person.
like
Where are you from?
Bro,
Right?
I
Because you want
don't.
to have
I
this
don't freak.
I mean,
conversation.
let's not
Toto, where are you
Hey,
from?
Kato.
do that, bro.
Kato,
Toto,
you
where are you
asked me a
from?
Today is
question, right? You
African
asked me a question,
Liberation
When I
right?
see
Day.
you,
I
I'm
I
gonna
want
don't.
you
smack
guys
the
to
shit out you,
remember
bro. I'm
that,
gonna
bro.
smack the shit out
Hey,
your pussy
Kato.
ass.
Hey, Commandment. I don't frequent gay bars, boy.
Toto, I will
What?
smack the shit out you. Where are you from?
Yeah, yes, you will. I tell you
Where do you
what.
live?
I tell
Where
you
do you
what.
live?
I
Because
tell
you
you
like to
what.
talk
Start.
tough. I will smack the shit out your
Let me
little
tell
ass.
you. Let me tell you, sugar mama. If you
Just say,
want to,
just
hold
drop.
on.
Just
Let
drop
me
the
tell
low.
you.
Shut up. Shut up and
Let me
drop the
answer
low.
your question.
Shut up and drop the low,
Let me
bro.
answer your question,
You keep
panties.
talking. No more questions. I'll
Let me
smack
tell
the
you.
shit
Let me
out you,
tell you.
bro. I'll smack the shit out your fat
I'm at
ass,
the
bro.
Kato, this
petrol.
is online, bro.
I'm on the.
Don't take it
Hey,
too
No.
personal.
Let's take
Evans,
it
we don't need
offline.
your
Since you want to
2 cents
be
on
tough,
this one.
Toto.
I'm
No,
at the
Toto, since you want
petrol.
to be
Let me
tough,
tell you.
where are you
I'm
from,
trying to
bro?
tell you, sugar mama,
Where are you
so
from? Just answer the
you can do
question.
something.
Just
Let me
answer the
tell you.
question,
I'm
Toto.
at the.
Stop trying. Say it. Stop trying and say it like a man.
I'm trying to tell you, sugar mama.
Just say it.
I'm
I'm
at the
from Brooklyn. Let's meet
petrol.
in Brooklyn.
I'm at the
Let's meet in
petrol
Brooklyn.
on
Let's meet in
Bankhead
Brooklyn.
every
Let's meet in Brooklyn.
Saturday,
Let's meet in Brooklyn. Or
and
shut the
Sunday
fuck up,
on
Toto.
Donnelly Howard
I
Shut your
mean,
Parkway
come
large
on.
ass
Hey,
up,
between
bro.
10 o'clock
I'm
and
Police.
from Brooklyn. We can
3
meet in
p.m.
Brooklyn
Police.
every
together.
Saturday
Kato
and
is
Otherwise,
a
you need to
Sunday.
kid.
calm it down. Because I'll
Kato is
smack
a
the shit
kid
out you,
Every
bro.
compared to you,
Saturday and
Police. He
Sunday.
could probably be
I'll
your
smack
son.
this shit out your
Let's
Billy
not do
Clown
that
ass,
with you,
Every
bro.
man. He's
Saturday
a
and
kid.
Sunday, I'm at the petrol on Donnelly Highway. Every
Wait,
Saturday and
repeat the
Sunday
location.
between 10 a.m. and 3
That's in
p.m.
Atlanta, Kato. You guys live on the almost on the opposite, not the opposite side, but you
Every
guys live far
Saturday
away
Oh,
from
he
and
each other.
talking
Sunday.
shit from Atlanta. You better stay there and you better stay safe.
I mean, come on, guys. Is this what
Nah,
we
Boy,
ain't no
you
come
ain't.
on.
degenerating
I'll
into?
smack the shit out you, bro.
Boy, the only
And you
thing
better
that
not
is,
put your image up on the net because I'm smacking the shit out you.
Kato, the only
You like to
thing that's
talk
tough,
mad tough.
the
I'll
only thing
smack the
that is
teeth out your
tough
mouth, bro.
about you is the back of your throat for taking all that dick, boy.
You be mad detailed
That's
about
the
gay
only
stuff. We know
thing
you know
about it, you
something.
fucking faggot. Don't
You
nobody
mad
listen to no
detailed
gay
about
black
gay
man.
stuff. How do you know so much about gay
You'll be
people,
better
Toto?
off going around white people or something, bro. Black
Toto is
people don't
down
listen
low,
to
bro.
that gay shit. That's
Toto
why
got a
nobody
whole
don't pay
profile
no
on
attention
Grindr
to
that
you,
he's
bro.
hiding, bro. Calling me gay, but you in
That's
Atlanta.
why
Calm that
nobody
shit
don't
down,
pay no
boy.
attention to you, boy.
Before I
Nobody don't
slap your
listen to
large
no
ass,
faggot
bro.
ass black man.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, Wildflower. Get some female energy in here. Go ahead, Wildflower.
Yeah.
That ass
I
remove Toto's fully ass, bro.
Go ahead, Wildflower.
Yeah. I think it's really important just to acknowledge that the way Donald Trump was talking to Ramaphosa can kind of be quite dangerous, that they're kind of setting up a precedent, sort of like to kind of toy with the idea that South Africa is doing something really, really bad. And as you guys can see, we might need to go in there. There's this man that is saying that he want to kill the Boers. You've all seen it in the White House. So America likes to create narratives to give them an opportunity to go in there. They could start destabilizing South Africa. So you have to be careful where South Africa has really good relationships with China, Russia, all this BRICS thing. And they might need to get in there. They're trying to find the weak person that is in BRICS. At the moment, it's India and South Africa where they're not fully in there. Do you know what I mean? And America can come and sort of like, oh, I can give you this, India, come away from them. Or I can give you, South Africa, you're not doing this. You're taking, you're hurting our white people. We need to come in, all guns blazing, or like Cape on to come and save us. And then South Africa has a lot of wealth. This country is really rich and nobody's trying to leave South Africa. You know, you have like, is it 7 million white people there? They ain't trying to leave. They've got gold, diamonds. They own all these things. They're not trying to leave this land. But what I think might happen for South Africa, I'm actually scared for them, is they might start to do what they've done to the Palestine areas, the Palestine territories, where they want to, because the foreign secretary of South Africa is a white man at the moment, and he was trying to get visas for Ukrainians to come to South Africa, the ones that are suffering, to bring these people, East Europeans are already anti-black, to bring them as reinforcement, you know, let me make sure I make it visa easy for them to come into South Africa. So these people are always thinking 50 years ahead. What I notice with black people, we think short term. White people are planning for the next 100 years. We're thinking what's going to happen tomorrow. This is how we stay behind. They're thinking this is a country, South Africa, we love it. White people are not going to give up South Africa. They rather go to war and blow up the place. They feel like this is their land. And if they feel like, you know, the young black people are trying to stand out, they're getting all this inspiration, they want to take the land back, they're not going to give the land back. Half of the land is also owned by the UK government, these aristocrats and everything. So they need to create a narrative. Oh my God, helpless white people getting murdered. This is all part of the plan. And then before you know it, we need to go in there. We need to go in there and rescue them because these Africans are mistreated. And then bam, you're falling into their trap. I'm just letting you guys.
Isn't that what I said a little while ago? I said that's exactly what it is. So you learned something today. I said it has nothing to do with white people in South Africa. It has everything to do with they want
Wildflower
South
has her
Africa.
own mind. She can
They
articulate
want
her
they
punch
want
card.
South Africa to destroy.
What you got against Collar, Elvis? What you got against Collar, bro? Go ahead, let's get it out right now.
Me and Collar is cool. I like Collar.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No, we cool, Collar. It's just in your mind we're not, but we're cool. I'm telling you, we're cool about force. Whether you like it or not, Collar, we cool. We cool.
After what you said about Liberia last night, you're a traitor, man. You know, I thought about you.
What? Because I wasn't lying about Liberia and I was being honest.
You haven't been there in 8 years. You don't know shit what's going on.
Because I wasn't lying about the country, Collar.
Oh yeah, hold on. You said a white guy went in there and said something about Monroe being dirty. I'm like, I don't want no white people in Monrovia.
Yeah, the EU representative of Liberia said Monrovia is the dirtiest capital city he's ever been to. And we Liberians, we agree with him. Our capital city is filthy.
Club Maserado, right? The nicest club in Liberia, nicest restaurant in Liberia, Club Maserado. Who do I see coming out as we're coming in? Fucking white people, you know? They're all over Liberia and whatnot talking about this. So I don't want to hear nothing.
Kyla, have you been to other African countries and juxtaposed it with Liberia?
No, I'm saying like this. I'm saying like if Liberia's that bad, what the hell are they doing there? Why are they putting their money in the country?
I'm just telling you, he was making a comparative analysis.
No,
you have to understand what that is. He said that it's the dirtiest African capital he's been to. Compared to Abuja, compared to Ghana, Accra.
I go way to the
it is.
Nas Lodge right now. Who do I see out there surfing? Fucking white people.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive, Kyla.
Talking all this shit about Liberia, but they can't stay away from the country. You know? Every resort, everything in there is full of white Americans, you know?
I was kind of not happy with Ramaphosa for being so quiet and not using the world stage to put these rumors to bed, because he might have been calm and collected and being very diplomatic and is, you know, mollycoddling Trump, but you need to stop their narrative before it grows, because they're planting a seed. These people are so dangerous. These people,
Wildflower. Elon Musk gave Trump $230 million.
It's too late for us to just be like, oh,
Elon Musk gave Trump $230 million in campaign contributions. This is one of the issues that he's really passionate about. So he brought it to Trump, you know, he brought it to the forefront, and Trump is only trying to appease Elon Musk. I don't think Trump really cares about this on a whole scale.
He doesn't give a damn about South
Africans. No, he's a global pan-European.
He's trying to placate for Elon Musk for his campaign donations.
It ain't about Elon Musk. It's all about the fact that Elon Musk, all of them don't like the way South Africa is moving towards BRICS, Iran, North Korea, and against Israel. All things America says unacceptable for a major power like South Africa. You know, that should always be in the white hands. You know,
but you know the good thing about it is, Carla, that at least when they come over here, Elon, if this all spearheaded by Elon, he's gonna make sure those white people are straight. You get what I'm saying? Because the one time they do something wrong, like the Latinos, they're gonna all blame it on Elon and whatever. So those 59, why you think they only let 59 to come? Now, somebody put this in the chat. I'm sorry I can't shout you out. I can't remember who put it in there. And they were saying that like a plane can hold 300. Why would they only bring 59? Because they're doing it strategically. The first time going to be 59.
They've got thousands to wait to come. They're not bringing them all together.
But see, hold on. You're not listening to the big picture because it's a money thing. So the reason why they only brought 59 because they're bringing them in strategically. See, this is what you call anchor. This is what you call tethering because they're going to bring those 59 over here. Elon is going to help them set up. You get what I'm saying? I don't know what country. I don't know what country or state yet. Colin, they're going to put them in. But when they bring those other ones over there, they're going to be like, hey, go connect to these 59 people. See, that's what I'm saying is that every other group of people has a block. We're the only ones that don't have a block. You get what I'm saying? Like when people come from and believe me, I'm not mad. I'm not mad that Africans don't come over here and deal with Black Americans because Black Americans think for some reason that immigrants got to bow down to them or something because they came over here. All I know is that when I go in every technical company to technical place to deliver something, when I walk around these tech schools, all I see is goddamn immigrants up in. I see the Black Americans hanging out on Ralph David Abernathy where Dinah's at over there, goddamn cooking some chicken, selling dope, or just standing out there looking stupid, running red lights. All the immigrants are in the tech school because they know that if you get and especially in Georgia, if you keep a C average, you get it for free. You get your education for free. So what I'm saying is that I don't care if when they come over, they don't have to bow down. Immigrants ain't got to kiss nobody's ass. But I tell you what, though, hold on for a second. If Black Americans would be happy if immigrants from other countries, Black immigrants that is, come from other countries, if they came over and act just as ratchet and stupid as Black American do, then they'll be cool. But since immigrants come over here with a one-track mind and they're thinking about they got to take care of their families and take care of their kids, they got to send money back, they need to get in the rat race and make this money quick. Most Black Americans sit on the corner selling dope while they mama's still in the projects.
Yeah, I don't know why we're lying about Black Americans. The average Black American
there's a lot of Black excellence exhibited in Atlanta, Georgia. You agree with that, right?
You say what now, Elvis?
Dialogue,
I said you would agree that there's a lot of Black excellence in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah,
a lot of lawyers, businessmen and women. Right. So that's the point that I'm making. So you have little pockets,
but it's not.
You have little pockets of Africans who are not doing well.
That's the difference, Elvis. You said a pocket, not a block. Most of those successful Black people are the enemy to the urban Black people.
Elon Musk is the richest man in the world.
So what I'm saying is, Elvis, that's the difference between Black people and white people. Poor white people don't look at rich people as somebody they need to rob. You get what I'm saying? Like I travel around in these rural areas. So I see these country rednecks, asking for white people to come over here and put a business there. We'll work for them. We'll build the business. We'll make it grow. You just invest money. You can't invest not $1 in the urban America. Only thing you can do is go there and give them some money.
Most white people commit crime against white people. Most Black people commit crime against
man.
Because he's talking about white people not robbing rich white people. White people invaded the White House. Like shut your dumb ignorant ass up.
See, that's what
we got a black man named Toto. We got a black man named after a dog.
We ain't even talking about that. We talking about investment in the community. And you talk about but get Trump balls out your mouth.
All you do is babble, Toto. Stop speaking. You sound stupid.
What are you talking about? Like I said,
every Black American is on the corner eating chicken, selling dope.
If we had some type of block,
you are not a Black American.
When immigrants come over,
Toto is not a Black American.
And
Toto does not represent Black Americans.
That community that y'all do, that you're a part of? What you call it? The Liberian thing.
You lie.
So what I'm saying is that at least when Liberians come from other places, they can come and connect to that, right?
Right.
So that's a block. No matter how small it is, it's a block. So what I'm saying is, but if they want to get with Black Americans, it is nothing that they can do. They have to stick with their own. So I'm not mad at that. So what I'm saying is the white people that's coming from America, who is they block? They block is Elon Musk. He's going to make sure that they straight. He's gonna make sure they're in the area, and when the other ones come, they're gonna link them on to them. They're gonna start up a trend, and I don't have no problem with that. I just hope that one day Black Americans stop wanting to beg, thinking Massa gonna give them something by begging. You know what I'm saying? And get with this thing that we gather up some type of block to where we can network each other too. We just don't have that.
Simply,
And this is
don't
wait,
you
wait,
think
this
that
is my
during the
problem
Great
with Black
Migration
American men, right? Like
for
we won't
Black
hold
Americans
Donald
coming
Trump
from the
and
South going
Elon
up
Musk
north,
accountable
there were
for being
organizations that
racist
helped them to
towards
settle in and
immigrants, but
integrate
allowing white
But that
up
was
immigrants.
north?
before. That was on the Jim. That's what they said with that guy from Florida that he got all that heat for. It was more of cohesiveness under Jim Crow.
I
We
don't know
didn't
why
have
we
no
making
choice.
excuses for them allowing
We
white
didn't have no
immigrants to
choice
come
but
here
to stick
when we said
together
that we
then.
shouldn't be
But I'm
allowing
saying
any
right
immigrants.
now. So what I'm saying is right now, if I move from Georgia to New York, is no type of nothing. I'm on my own.
You
You
think
see what I'm
so?
saying? So
You
it's
don't
a
think that
We gotta
there's
stop making
places you
excuses
can
for
go to if
white
you need
people
some
giving
help or
white
if you need
people
some
more
no.
privilege?
information
You
on how
don't
to?
get
Hey,
you don't
hey
go
guys,
to
I gotta read these super chats real quick.
you don't go
Philly
to the
Yardy
state.
Blind, thank you for the $10 holla. Like Dynas once said, it will take Africans to build Africa. Brain drain is not a recipe for success.
True.
JC, thank for $1 holla. JD Vance looks like he got bullied in middle school. All right, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, Elvis, that back then it was guaranteed. Like when you watch all these movies about how Black people's living from the South, they would have a contact person, Elvis.
Yeah,
And
like
maybe you
that
don't.
movie, The Green
Maybe
Book.
Yeah, exactly. They would have a contact person to talk to, somebody who you can live at or whatever, where you can live at until you get on your feet, pay them a little rent, they'll help you out, point you to the job. You get what I'm saying? Now that Americans come up there, they have to make sure they have got them $5,000 to $8,000 to go from America to New York. You got to have like $5,000 to $8,000 in your
But
pocket.
let's ask Dynas, right? Dynas live in Atlanta. He's pretty connected with the Black community out there. I'm sure you are too. Are there organizations there, Dynas, that help Black people settle if they have crisis, whether it's for single
Hell
mothers
no.
or homeless or whatever?
Hell no.
I mean, my bad. I know the city. I think the city does. I know Andrew.
Now you get my point.
Dickinson. I think they built some affordable housing, but it's primarily for women though. Women are the main factors for.
But also, we being dishonest about like these organizations. Like Pakistani people aren't coming to New York applying to the
my God.
Pakistani Association and getting free shit. Pakistani people are coming to New York to visit their family who already established themselves, and they're helping each other out. So
Okay, young. Kid.
I do agree we need. I do agree we need a Black bloc. But
as an immigrant in this country, let me tell you, right?
To describe
We have the
just
Union of
inaccurate.
Liberia in the Americas, right? It's called EULA, right? That's the big organization. Then we have local organization, like in Minnesota, we have the Organization of Liberians in Minnesota, right? So when we come to this country, or when immigrant comes to this country, right, we have a local high school here that we have like an immigrant night, and we have the cops that come there. They have a conversation with the new immigrants on how to comport themselves, how to not get pulled over. If they do get pulled over, how to go about giving their documents to the police and not to reach. All of those little things, our community do that to make sure that the new immigrants are acclimated. They don't get themselves in trouble. They try to help them with to settle in to the new state or the new country that they move to. So I think that's important, like Simple Lisa was trying to say. But then again, African American are interwoven in this country. They pretty much know America, right? You don't have to tell the African American moving from Georgia to New York that how to interact with the cops or how to go get a job,
But we
how
do
to
that,
look for
though.
directions. I
'Cause there's
think they already
different
know
laws by
that.
the
So I don't
state.
know if there's a need for it, right? Do you think there's a need for it, Simple Lisa?
Yes, there's a need for it because
As an
even
African
if you don't
American,
know, even if you don't know how to talk to the
state,
police, you still need to know how the neighborhood
I
is,
call
how
up
the
my
schools
kinfolk.
are. How you gonna know all that shit?
Now, like when I went to college in St. Louis, my family hit up Black people in St. Louis so I could know like the difference in the laws and the culture. Like we always checking in. Like check-in culture is a huge thing for African Americans. So like I think it's disingenuous to say we don't have some of the building blocks for these, but we don't have the actual block, which I agree with.
What do you think, Colin? You think Black people don't have a network? You guys have a network out there in Virginia
Well,
to help Black
it's
people
like
settle when they
this.
move in?
This is how it goes in Virginia, right? If you hold up, if you were born in New York, you're dead ass, right? The black people down here got their own social clubs and everything that go back way. If you weren't born here, if you didn't know them by the time you was in second grade, you could forget about it, you know? And
Forget
so,
about it.
yeah, forget about it. Really, it is. That's how it is. They got the associations here. They help each other out, get jobs in the city. So like that, the black people here run shit, you know? But the bottom line, people like me, I'm an outsider because I had the task of born in New York, you know? That's how it is down here. So it's not like there's a black thing. It's just like a nepotism thing. Yeah, there's social clubs here, and to be honest with you, I try to replace that with a black thing. They're like, man, we got everything. What the hell we need you for, you know? And they try to protect what they got. You got black people who, when there's a building for sale in downtown Norfolk, whatnot, they all get together and whatnot. The Riddick family and all these people, they got a portfolio of buildings and property and everything like that. That ain't a black thing. That's a Riddick thing, you know? So, yeah, so people protect each other and all that. But the whole thing is we're still part of the traveling group of people. I'm from the South. We went up north, and now we're back down to the South and everything
Back,
like that.
yep.
So we're not settled, you know? We're not settled any place. So you got to be settled. When you see these people, immigrants, they come to an area, they don't know anybody, so they have to network with each other, you know?
Right.
And so they have to build bonds and new bonds of affection and knowing stuff like that. But Black America, everything's already cast, you know?
Yeah. And and what he's talking about in Virginia, it's like an individual, local, commerce. What they call it, commerce. What the business they be having in every city?
Commerce and all that.
Yeah, business of commerce. Hey, Dice, let me read this. Let me read this super chat real quick. In West Africa, Toto means dick. He calls himself the Toto kisser. Let me explain to you, Quasi Man, Kona, you know what I'm saying, carrying
I
jerry
told y'all he
cans,
was down low.
carrying water jerry cans on your head. In Nigeria, in Liberia, it might means that. In Jamaica, DR, Caribbean, and all over Senegal and the Gambia and Togo, Toto means pussy. So if it means that in Liberia, since Elvis was the first person to tell me that, but in every other country besides Liberia, Toto means pussy.
You a grown ass man named Pussy Eater. Like why
Yeah, that's
Why is this
What do you gotta get to police, Kato? What do you gotta get him, man?
That's what's in my hold on for a second. That's what's in my DNA. So something is mixed up in your DNA that you want to put actual dick in your mouth, boy. That's a problem.
You're the
That's
one with the
bad for
dick
your
name.
health.
Your name has dick in it.
Dinus, before you can
Dick
start,
kisser.
before you move on,
Go ahead, Carlos. I'm gonna pass it to Kofi. Well, actually, I gotta pass it to Ola. Then after Ola, I gotta pass it to Kofi.
I got a bone to pick with Kofi for a second, right? Kofi, man, I don't want to embarrass you on the air.
Yeah, don't bring this dude's personal business out on this platform.
No,
Colin.
I just had a message. Did you see your Facebook timeline, man? Kofi.
Leave him alone, God. Pass the mic to Ola.
Let me pass it to Ola. Let me pass it to Ola. Go ahead, Ola. Go ahead, Ola.
Thank you, Dennis. I've been listening since. Sometimes I disagree with Simple, but Simple is saying the truth. Today, I agree with him. Sometimes, even people may think it's agree. Yes, when West Africa says shit too, I kind of really understand with him now that, yes, we're reading the shit too. If you talk about the money that we Africans, the government of Africa is in with them. In the United States, the Black Americans, I think we should not generalize it. They are successful Black Americans. They're the majority Blacks in the United States. They're everywhere. I don't think any Nigerian or Ghanaian or any other Black race can overtake them in their successfulness in the United States. You understand? Because my uncle was married to he's not still married to a Black American woman who retires one of the executive in Wells Fargo, and she's from Texas. There's a Black Americans who are lawyers, who are everything. One just helped my estate out of a case and everything. I think we see some of these low life ones that are in the corners. Those are minorities. I think there are a lot of them because that is their country. That's what they know. They've been into all these schools before the Africans, started coming in there and all these things. I think we should not. Yeah, they will be the most successful black race in United States, because that's what I just want to say, so we just have to be a little bit, cannot compare some of these ones who don't want to go to school nowadays, and these girls who like to watch Kim Kardashians and some of these shake it down in TV and all these things. I think there are a lot of thousands of them who are far more. If you have to take the black success in the United States, I think they're far more ahead than any other Africa blacks that come over there. The Indians are very secretive. That's one thing you have to understand. They are very secretive. They do things secretly. They are very close-minded to themselves. So that's why you don't see Trump saying them to deport. They hide their people until everything's been done well. So this black power of a thing, that guy, sometimes I hate when Africans sometimes want to talk about white supremacists and everything. We don't know nothing about white supremacists.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? Because before you understand white supremacy, what they use white supremacy on, you have to live with these people hundreds of years. Story be passed down from their. Let me use Black Americans as case, for example. Stories be passed down to them. They're seeing it. They have pictures. They have everything. I think they know more about white supremacy than Africans start coming to talk about white supremacy. Why you don't really know much about white supremacy. I don't know nothing about white supremacy. As long as I can make my money, that's for me. I like money. That is all, bro. Thank you.
All right, let me pass it to Kofi. Then from Kofi's we winning. Go ahead, Kofi.
Yeah, I just want to inform everyone that my son was born yesterday in Ghana.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And my life, it is private, but I do provide videos on my YouTube that could take you into my life, my short films. And just to touch on the topic, coming back from Ghana, I had to go through American Works, and there were all types of people there, mostly black, but there's people from Ghana, people from Haiti, and those are the two demographics I saw, and through that job search, I was able to land myself in a accessoride role as a CDL Class C driver. And with that, I fund my other endeavors, investments, continuing education, cybersecurity, and trying to get back to the African continent.
So you got your CDLs now, Kofi?
Say it again.
You got your CDLs now?
I just got one CDL Class C, but I'm not so much of a passionate in driving. My passion is filmmaking, but I've been driving. Even in Ghana, I was driving. So
what company you with now?
it's called I'm not gonna say the company, but it's generally it's just
I tell you what, just tell me what state they out of.
New York.
Okay, I got you. I have an idea. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going, bro.
And with the with the self-rider technology that's coming out, I think it is time. Anyone could buy a truck and could install their own NVIDIA into a car with the cameras, and you could have a self-driving truck. I believe that technology is next. And not to look down on CDL drivers, that's an experience that you could implement into AI, and that's just something I would love to do. I live in Floral Park. It's very Indian, but most of the people that used to be here were Jewish people. So my old the past
Kofi,
owner
are you on a Bluetooth
was
or
Jewish.
something? Are you
I'm
on
on
a
my
Bluetooth?
phone.
No, he sounds good. He sounds good to me. Go ahead, Kofi.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on my phone right now, and what I see is that the Asians, whether it be the Indians or the Chinese, their populations are in the billions, and when they come here, their populations could easily reach 50 million. So I think is very key that we use the African continent as that base, as a populace, and when we're going to Africa, we need these platforms to be successful there. We need to learn how to make it without an economy that's full of jobs. We need to be set up with farming. We need to be set up with just easy access to things like loans and just anything that's a roadmap to surviving. And so far, I see the podcast platforms like Connected Minds on this platform, Kinganda, even when which caller goes out to Liberia, and he's speaking on the bus. When Kala goes out to Liberia, I feel like these things are a much helpful sources to survive in the African continent. And then when we're coming back to also survive here, I just tracked down a Ghanaian. He has this app called Kaya app, and it translates tree into English through voice. And now I have my wife, working on that and trying to translate videos that's only in Tree. That could be a much help source to Americans there now. And that's all I have to add to the conversation. I just stepped on. Feel free to talk about my
All
my,
right.
my
Hey,
personal life, but don't get too
congratulations,
dirty.
Kofi, brother.
Thank you,
Happy
man.
for you,
Thank you.
bro.
Hey,
Thank you.
Kofi, let me ask you a question real quick since you came back from Ghana. What do
Yeah.
you think, like what you were saying about the networking, but at the end, you can network over the internet, but you got to have like a block where you can get like tangible like meeting spot, like something where like a block where you can get assistance. What country do you think or whose has that where you can go to them and like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm coming to this country. Like, which country has that block where you can get that help from?
Since I've only been to Ghana, I would say the Ghana Tourism Investment Authority. I think they and I know one of the ambassadors. Her name is Ivy Prosper. You have to go to the tourism authorities to pretty much lay out the red carpet and to tell you what opportunities you might could gain in access. And I'm sure Nigeria has one. I'm sure Liberia has one. I'm
Mm-mm,
sure Ivory Coast, Togo
mm-mm.
Benin has something similar, but I just never been there. I'm just
Nah,
going
they
off
ain't
from
got it. They ain't got it. That's why I was asking you about Ghana. And you said it's a tourism. I'm not talking about like tourism investment. I'm just saying somebody, hey, I'm coming to Ghana. I'm finna get
Mhm.
off this plane. You know what I'm saying? Be there in 2 weeks. Like, hey, where's a good place to rent? If I want to get a hotel that's,
Okay.
what I'm saying, some type of like information where somebody not gonna charge me $500 for a consultation where to eat
Okay.
some greasy ass turkey butt at. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so you have to go to the AAAG, African American Association of Ghana, and if you're in the Central region where the dungeons are at, you have to go to Craig, the Central Region African Central Association of Ghana, and if you are feeling, like your Caribbean side, then you go to the Caribbean um,
Okay.
Diaspora Association,
Okay, I
and
appreciate
there.
that because that's why I be saying when people jump on these platforms, they just be like, "Go here," like we real. I don't know why we do this as Black people, but we're real vague with the. I'm not saying you did that on purpose, but we're real vague with the information instead of really explaining it. Like you just explained it way better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Made it more tangible to somebody can reach out and touch one or two, three different people because talking to a tourism and all that shit, that's about some
Yeah,
investments or something. I'm talking about like
yeah, that's
people
not a
that
very,
actually will help you navigate.
Triple AG helped me. Triple AG and Craig, they helped me get my citizenship.
Okay, I
Yeah,
appreciate that information, man. That's
no
good
problem.
information.
No
Oh, let me
problem.
pass the We Winning. Go ahead, We Winning.
I just want to say thank God that President Trump is in this motherfucking White House. Since this
Preach.
motherfucker has been in West Texas, the oil drillers has been winning. Motherfucking freight broker, motherfucker do shit in the drayage, working with
Preach.
NVOCC. At the end of the day, man, you ain't got to like Donald Trump. At the end of the day, you got to position yourself to actually win in business. Because if we're going to do anything in the continent, we got to generate the capital, the cash flow, leverage our expertise. Then we can be able to teach some things over cross seas. Now, when it comes to Donald Trump, when it comes to the situation that we see, when it comes to the Congo and the South African situation, I think this is a major distraction where most people are not even focusing on what is the investment opportunities here in America or on the continent. I think people are letting a lot of white liberals gaslight them into a situation where they lining you up to get set up and crossed up. We got people like Ras Baraka defending illegal anti-black Hispanics. They don't have no love for the black community. Why should we be able to defend the situation? Now, my brothers in the continent, the Caribbean, I have no problem with y'all. My issue is the situation of illegal immigration. When it comes to trucking, Trump put an executive order where you got to learn English in order to be a truck driver.
Yep.
Damn it, the fuck is going on with America where we allowing people that don't understand the signs, how to read, involved in the streets? That is insane. Like I said, man, thank God that Trump is in the White House. I appreciate the fact that my brothers that can see it, that are not overly emotional, please get to the money. I wish you nothing but wealth, reciprocity, and respect. Thank you, Dynasty. Big.
Hey, we went in. Let me pick it back off what you just said real quick. You know, you can always tell, like even Elvis ain't this bad. You know what I'm saying? Like the rest of them Democratic clowns, they always sit up there and talk about who likes you. I just never understand that about black people that always talking about who like us. Like that's how the Democrats like just get you messed up. That's why they brought you Meg the Stallion out there to shake us stinking ass. That's why they brought Tyler Perry's sister ass out there to come up there and talk about and LeBron James. We with her. You know what I'm saying? Sit up here. Had to trick men to sit up here and start talking about reproductive right, which ain't nothing but another word for abortions. They had black men sitting up here talking about we voting for Toto. You get what I'm saying? That's what black men was talking about. It's no matter we winning. It doesn't matter how you come up with these trendy words like reproductive rights and due process. You're talking about illegal migration. You know what I'm saying? And the same things that we could never do in another country, we got people championing this. You get what I'm saying? Because they're part of a political party. Now, me, I'm not part of a political party. I'm even down the middle. I'll say what something good that the Democrats did, and I'll say something that bad that the Republicans did. But you can tell when you're stuck on a plantation where you think that like I'm just gonna only talk about what somebody bad did when you're benefiting. The gas prices is low right now. Where I'm at, the gas price is $2.87. Around Memorial Day last year, we went and it was $3.46. You get what I'm saying? The price of food is down. Inflation is down. You get what I'm saying? But you still got emotional black people that sit up here talking about, even though goddamn sleepy Joe Biden got cancer in his asshole now, still talking about they wanted him to be president. When he got motherfucking cancer ooga boogas running through his asshole, that's who they wanted to be president. A person couldn't even keep his eyes open without it shuddering. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't even do a sentence without something written down on a board. And then even Elvis was sitting up like, well, you know what? I was just voting for the party. You know what I'm saying? No, don't care if the man got cancer in his asshole and can't even walk. They was talking about want to put him in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to keep him upright until the election was over. His staff were talking about putting him in a wheelchair. He was going to be in a wheelchair. But this is who they wanted to be in office because they dislike somebody the most. Not the point where it's going to be the best for your community. The Trump administration is good for the black community because he put a stop to illegal immigration. It's only 600,000 black babies are born a year. You get what I'm saying? That's it. They was bringing in over 2.7 million Latinos in a year. Let's just think about that. 600,000 black babies. We got to get to the age we went in to be able to bust a nut, to be able to have a baby. But they bringing these Latinos over here that been eating mangoes and bananas for 3 months straight, ready to
Dump them in
fuck.
the black community. Dump them in
All right,
positions in the black community.
Police, let me respond to you real
Hold
quick. Right?
on. You can. I swear, Evans, I'll let you go, and that's why I won't interrupt. Not one word you saying. What I'm saying is that maybe it didn't affect you in Minnesota, Elvis, but you can't look at just Minnesota and be your block. When we talk about maybe that's the Liberian in you that only section your yourself off to one state. When I think about black people, I think about black people all over the 50 states.
California,
And I know
the
for a
West Coast.
fact that they was dumping black people in all the urban cities in the lower 25 states. I know that for a fact. And it was affecting us. And it was affecting the business, affecting the transportation. You had these Latinos out here, got them going $1 under. When you think like, hey, $1 ain't nothing. $1 a mile is like, if you're going 10 hours, that's $600. So that means that a Latino will come in there, can't read, you know what I'm saying, can't read English, will undercut me $600. And you know the craziest thing we went in before I turn it over to Elvin is
Yes,
that
sir.
I remember one day I was at a shipper and this Latino came up to me with his phone, put it in my face to want me to tell the shipper something. He was doing the translate for couldn't speak no English. So if you can't speak no English, you can't speak no English, you can't read no English.
Why the fuck you on the road?
And why you on the road? So that's part what I'm glad upon. So when I'm speaking on
one second. So Philly, I did read your super chat, Philly. I did. I read all the money. Trust me, I read it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dinas definitely represents the money, Shawty. He definitely read it. But what I'm saying is that those two things right there, immigration, gas prices, food prices, and inflation going down. And finally, somebody said, well, look, China's been getting, we all complain, even black inventors, black patent holders, all talk about China taking our product and mass reverse producing it and selling it. You get what I'm saying? So finally somebody finally stood up. Now, this is the craziest part. They was like, oh, okay, Trump is putting tariffs on. But the thing about it is, all these other countries had tariffs on us. So the craziest thing that make no sense to me, Dinas, is that black people will sitting up there saying, well, we should just keep letting these people take money from the country. No, Trump finally stood up and said, I tell you what, if you punch me in my stomach, I'm going to punch you in your stomach. Now, one thing about Germany, the reason why he let the tariffs go right in Germany, because he let those tariffs let Germany build up their country since he has the military base. But everybody else got to pay what they weight.
Tim Police, let me respond to you, brother.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Look, I'm a Democrat, unapologetically so. And as such, I believe in the policies of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, who served 4 terms.
You wasn't even around when he was around.
I mean,
hey, man,
if you want to interrupt me, that's fine.
He's an immigrant. He don't know no better. Go ahead. Talk about Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Okay, good. It's not about living under the president. It's about the policies that they implemented, right? Franklin Delano Roosevelt, of course, he started as the Social Security, program that takes care of our elderly, which is very important for a lot of people in this country, especially black folks, and elderly folks in this country. You had Lyndon B. Johnson, who started the Medicare program. That's important for, again, a lot of elderly, poor people in this country. That's a policy that helps a lot of people who are in need. You're mentioning something, but I'm guessing you probably didn't mean it in this way, but talking about a president being in a wheelchair. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was in a wheelchair. He got voted for 4 terms in this country.
No. He was already in a wheelchair.
Well, hold on.
No, you're
you
doing
said
it.
you wasn't going to interrupt me, brother. I hear you. I hear you. Let me.
Don't be disingenuous. Then we can keep going.
Let me make the point, right? So you have somebody like a Greg Abbott, who is the governor of Texas, who is in a wheelchair. He, for the most part, he's an effective governor. His mind is there, but his foot is not there. So being in a wheelchair doesn't make you ineffective. With Joe Biden, I said it, right? Joe Biden was old. He had some signs of, some people say it's dementia. Some people think it was, definitely he wasn't well. He wasn't as well as we would have liked him to be. But there was certain policy that he was pushing for that we as Democrats were in favor of. The Build Back Better, a bill, which is going to, invigorate the the infrastructure of this country, to try to rebuild the infrastructure of the
Hold
United
on, stop
States.
right there for a second. Stop right there.
You
Just put
gotta
a
let
pin
me
in it. Don't.
finish.
No, I just want to
No,
ask you a question.
simply, I
I
didn't
want to
interrupt you
ask
for
you
like
a
10 minutes,
question. It's
brother.
called the interject.
No, let's not do that. I want to be respectful.
When will
Afford me
the
the same
Build Back
respect.
Better bill go in
Hold,
effect?
hold on.
Just
Afford
answer
me
that
the,
question for me. When does it go in effect?
let me finish, please. Afford me the same respect. So when we're talking about policy and ideology and trying to, maintain some of the social programs that has been helping Americans for centuries now, we want to see those programs continue. The dichotomy with the Republicans is they want to cut those programs. They're bringing forward the big beautiful bill that's going to cut Social Security, that's going to cut Medicare, and a lot of people don't like that. Even some Republicans are going against the bill.
What do you mean they're gonna cut it?
It's called a work requirement, Elvis.
Well, hold on, no.
I
We
mean,
winning. We
just
winning. Hey, man, hold
let
on,
me
man. Come on. Don't let them off that easy.
let
What do
me
you mean they're gonna cut
finish.
it?
Let
Because
me finish.
you just saying something. What do you mean they're gonna
Let
cut
me
it?
finish, bro. This is a new
You're
year.
not gonna say how they cut it?
1 second, Simple Police. When you was talking, I didn't ask you. Even when I wanted to interject, you begged me to let you finish, and I did. So let me finish. So my point here is, if you voted for Trump because of immigration, fine. I told you before during the campaign time that I don't agree with illegal immigration. I don't. But I told you there was a issue with the immigration law that has been in place since 2006 under George W. Bush, and that is the catch and release, policy that he implemented, which was once somebody comes to a legal port of entry and they're seeking asylum, you process them, you put them through the system, and you release them until their court date within a year. Within 12 months, they get a hearing in front of a judge. The judge will determine if they have a valid asylum claim, and if they do, they get their status changed to asylum, asylee, somebody who is seeking asylum, or it get denied and they get deported back. That was the issue. A lot of people took advantage of it, sure, but legally on the books, they were allowed to do so by a policy that was put in place by a Republican president. Now, that's been an ongoing thing for a long time, where Democrats and Republicans have been trying to do a immigration bill, but they can never come to agreement on how to implement it. So it's a political thing. So I'm not telling you that I want illegal immigrants to come into this country. And the last part that you made, which is a reference to me, which is true. I always say this: politics is local. The things that is affecting me in Minnesota is probably not the same thing that's affecting people in New York. And also, I'm an immigrant. I come from an immigrant family, so I'm not against immigration into this country, especially if it's legal.
Exactly. And that's why
Now,
I said you're not as bad as the rest of them, because you have an individual mindset when it comes to your politics. That's why you're not as bad as the other ones. But now that you said that, now go back to when you said, because you said they're gonna cut off Medicaid and Social Security. You made that statement as if anybody else listening would think that they finna cut it off. So is that what you mean? They finna cut it off?
no, not cut it off. Cut it, meaning that they're going to.
You mean make strategic cuts? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, even that. For a lot of people, I don't know if you know, maybe you don't have a family member who is living off, a Social Security check, for example, right? Usually they get like $600
But
a
he
month.
made it where there's no tax
Hold
on
on,
Social
hold on. We
Security.
win. I got him on the ropes. I got him on the ropes.
No problem, no problem,
Go
no
ahead,
problem.
Elvis.
No, that's fine. I mean,
Go ahead, Evans.
yeah.
Finish about my family, my own family that's getting Social Security. Go ahead.
No, that's not what I said. I said I don't know if you have a family member,
I
right?
do.
Because a lot of people do, right? So
I
you
do.
might have there's different kinds of Social Security, right? There's Social Security when you retire and you get it because of, what you put into it. There's Social
True.
Security, SSI. Is sometimes it's for people who are injured, couldn't work, they're disabled, disability. So there's some people who are living off those things, and they're telling us that, or even young kids, for example, there are young people who have a parent or both parents who died, and they're getting their parents' benefit. That's they call it an entitlement, right? Because they're entitled to that payment because their parents worked for at least 10
Are you gonna
10
get to the
years.
point where they're gonna cut?
Yeah, they propose a bill to cut it, to cut the
No,
amount that people get.
Elvis.
They
That is
also
not
they
that is
also
not
put
what it is,
stringent
bro. I was waiting
requirements.
for you. I was waiting for you to tell me, but you went, boy. I'm talking about the bush, but you ran around that motherfucker 1,000 times. What they're doing with Medicaid and Social Security is the same thing that they did with food stamps. They told these big booger wolves chicks out here with a whole bunch of weave and a pair of Jordans and iPhone 16s is that if you're able-bodied, if nothing is wrong with you, you ain't gonna be able to sit on your stinking ass and twerk and make TikTok videos all day and get $600-800. You're gonna have to work. These are the only three requirements. You have to either do community service for 20 hours or you got to work a job for 20 hours. Those are the only things. And on top of that, Elvis, it was 1.4 million illegal immigrants getting Medicaid, and they cutting that off, and they said that Medicaid is for the Americans.
Thank God for Donald Trump.
So that's what those the 1.4 million getting cut. You get what I'm saying? Those are people are off of it when this bill is being signed. So when you say they're getting cut, I'm doing more than what you're doing. I'm giving the context to the story and not doing the Democratic, you know what I'm saying, bungo stew shuffle. You get what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. I'm getting real specific with it. Rather it be right or wrong, I'm giving all the information. Those are the requirements. And you're going to have to certify every 6 months. And that's the same thing you have to do for food stamps now. Back in the days, you didn't have to certify, but every 2 years. Now you got to certify every 6 months, and all you got to do is get a same doctor that you go to Medicaid for, get a letter and say that either, hey, I'm disqualified from work, I can't get up and go to work, and I can't do community service. They have all different places in different cities where you can go do work for, but you can't sit on your ass and be able-bodied and get free money no more. Those days have stopped.
Now, brother, what is the issue of work requirements, man? Like my pops told me Clinton tried to do it and he didn't go deep enough. Ain't that right?
That is true.
So, he didn't go deep enough. So I don't see the problem with it. 1.4 million illegals on this shit, that's overloading the system, big homie.
But see, they don't say that. If you hear any of them talking and you go on any of those news stations, they always saying making cuts. So when they say that, because you know, black people, they call us the low information voters for a reason. We don't look into the specifics. They just put the word cut the same way we winning. It's the same way when you had them, everybody talking about, man, if you vote for Trump, y'all gonna be back in chains. You had black people scared. Scared. Like think about it. Scared. They like the gaslight. I don't even like the word gaslighting, but that's what they do to try to scare people. Even when you listen to their news, they always talking about what you need to be scared of, what you should fear, what should frighten you in your sleep. That's all they talk about. But Democrats are some of the scariest people in the world. They scared of their own shadow. You get what I'm saying? But these are what's coming with the people that was getting them, that certified it, if through their doctors and everything, they're gonna continue to get it. Is nobody gonna drop off? What they doing is they're getting the illegal immigrants out of there first. 1.4 million of them are done.
They done.
All that shit that happened, all that shit that was happening under Joe Biden, where the immigrants were getting $500 EBT cards and goddamn
more like 5,000, bro.
The minimum was 500. I'm talking. Hey, we winning. I'm trying to be nice and just say the minimum that they was getting.
Shit, motherfuckers in Chicago.
So people in the chat are saying something about Social Security, right? Maybe you agree with this. They're saying that in order to get Social Security, you have to qualify for it. In order to qualify for it, you have to have worked in order to qualify for it. Or in certain instances, for a young person whose parent passed away who is not of working age, they get the benefit of their parent, Social Security. So if, say you're a 19-year-old kid and your daddy work, say you're a 17-year-old kid and your father worked 30 years and died of cancer. and you're getting his Social Security benefit because you haven't reached the age of majority. And do you think you have to work to get the benefit that your father worked for?
If he's able-bodied, why wouldn't a 19-year-old be able to work 20 hours?
No, that's a question I'm asking to you because your father
No,
worked for it.
I'm thinking that I'm saying that if it's new rules, you got to certify. What I'm saying is, Elvis, is that I understand your question, and I think I just answered it. But let me tell you this: it was going on the same way with the food stamp. It was chick that had 10 kids, but they still, once the rule changed, the requirements changed. You can't just say that the rules was the same, you know what I'm saying, 20 years ago, and they what it is now, it ain't it. It's the same thing. You brought up Lyndon B. Johnson. He the one that brought about the Section 8. He the one that told black women, mostly black women, that if you got a man in the house, we see any man clothing, shoes, or whatever that a man living in the house, you get your benefits cut. But now those things have changed because they don't toe down all the projects.
Yeah,
Now
but you
the
know the
section
benefit simple is it's not really for the women, right? It's for the kids.
for
You know,
what?
if the father isn't there and the woman usually is working, but her income
Which
is not
benefits are you
sufficient
talking
to
about?
take care of herself. Say that again.
Which benefits you talking about?
So let's say food stamp for example, or even
Okay,
in
food
Section 8
stamps.
housing, right? So if the person is not making enough money, right? And you know food can be expensive, especially if you have a couple kids. And you know,
Yeah.
we make the argument all the time, you don't have kids unless you're married, you don't have kids with people who may not stay with you and raise a family. I get all that point. But say you have a lady who have 2 kids, right? And she's working at, let's say, Walmart, right? She's making $35,000 a year. She
She's
got
not
a
going to
paycheck.
qualify.
Okay, maybe that's too much. I don't know what the
That's too much
threshold
because
is.
it's a threshold. It's a monthly threshold. You got to make under that, and that's been the
Okay,
same.
let's say she's making under that threshold, right? And
Okay,
already you know that's a very low amount of money to
right.
make and sustain a family. So the government is telling you, well, we're going to help you with food for your kids, especially with babies with wake and even food stamps. Sometimes it's 200, it's $300 a month.
No, it's
Eh,
200 if you're single, and it's more if you got kids.
right.
Okay,
So the
gotcha. Go.
point the point here is that this is a helping hand to these ladies, right?
Mhm.
And the government is telling you that once you have an able-bodied man, stop the benefit, which is fine. I don't. Should we be against that? Is that a bad
Well,
thing that
see,
Lyndon Johnson
but
said
see,
that
this
once
is
you have
the
a
thing,
man,
though.
he takes
It
over the
wasn't.
benefit of the government from the
No,
government?
but see, this was the problem. This was the problem with it because, say for instance, that just like me, like my son, my daughter lives in Atlanta. My son lives in Washington D.C. Sometimes when I go up there, you get what I'm saying. Like I might stay at I don't mess with her at all. I don't play them games. If y'all that want to stay on child support, don't be banging up your baby mama if you don't plan on being with her, because she gonna put the Cobra Commander clamps on your ass, or she gonna put the clamps on you from Futurama. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is sometimes I spend a night at her house, right? So if she, say for instance, she lived in the projects and I just so happen to be there the day that the people do the pop-up, then she get penalized. That's what I'm just you same way you use that example is the same way some of this stuff was happening. Because a lot of times people don't live in the same city where they have kids at, just the way that it works. Or you get what I'm saying, or you live out of town. So that's what was happening. And then it was still bad with some people staying there too. But in Atlanta, I know that for a fact that happened to some people that would have family coming from out of town. So even if it was a family member, say if it's your family come out of town and it's a guy, you get what I'm saying? Like they was taking women benefits from that. You get what I'm saying? They
But
don't
but
want to
but
see them.
same police, think about it, right? This whole thing that Republicans used to, this talking point that the welfare queens. You think people want to be living in poverty just to get food stamps? You think people want to be making less than twenty-four
Well, see,
thousand
what I'm
dollars a
saying
year
is
just to get
what I'm
food
saying
stamps and be rich off of it?
is not what I think. What I know for a fact, as somebody that came up for the project, I saw how people were there. I saw that they used that as a crutch. I saw so many black people was like, I actually heard women talking about, well, you know what? I'm gonna play sick for the rest of the week because I can't make but a certain amount of money, so I can keep getting my benefits. Because you know that in the projects, if your money goes up, your monthly wages go up, they go up on your rent. So the people was using it as a crutch. So it was actually more beneficial to them to make less money. So they wasn't trying to get out of out of the projects, Elvis. They were just trying to maintain a lifestyle. And when you have that type of people maintain that lifestyle, now you got generations of people staying over there. Do you get what I'm saying? See, now that's why I didn't have no problem when the cocaine spill, when the BMF dude was dropping that purr. I didn't mind cooking up because I just saw black people as weak. Not because I thought they was weak. I just saw their mentality. They didn't want to do anything. This go for black men and black women. They didn't want to do anything. I saw black men out there sleeping in their car and waiting for the people to leave out and get through making their rounds and whatever. Same way they have lookouts for the police. They had lookouts for the people coming over there and check women's apartment. It became a norm for black people to do this. And when they tore down the project that I'm from, Bankhead Court, it was people out there crying about a hellhole death trap because they didn't have to pay but $23 a month, and they was paying that for goddamn 16 years. And now
But
they like, what
let me say this right, police.
What we gonna go? And what I'm saying is a crutch.
I get it. Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick, right? So on Carla's channel, we was watching a documentary about this whole, the people who live in the projects, right? And one of the things that I saw in that documentary, which was kind of disheartening to see, is that you had a lady who had, who was on welfare. She had subsidized housing and food stamps and all of those things. And she said what you said about making a higher income. Once you make a little bit more money, they put your rent up, right?
Yep.
But one of the things that she was complaining about is that she still has her stove is not working, the plumbing is not working. So you're living in this apartment. Once you start making more money, your rent goes up high, but the amenities doesn't get better. Things doesn't change, right? And usually people like this, not all the time, but usually they don't have the credit to get into a nice apartment. They don't have the credit history. They don't have the means, to really, even though they got a better job, technically, a marginally better job, their rent is going to go up, but they're not going to reap any of the benefit of their rent, of paying a higher rent in subsidized housing. It's still going to be shitty. Things are still going to be broken. They're not going to come fix it now because you're paying an extra $50 or extra $75 a month. So the key here is you can go and strive and get a better job and pay more rent and try to get on the up and up. But usually you're not going to be making enough or have the credit history to move to a decent place and reap the benefit of it. So sometimes it's like a trap. Poverty, unless you really live in dire poverty, it's like a trap, bro. That's hard to get out of. I'm not making
But that was
for
an old
anybody.
video. I was watching that, so I know what you was talking about. But in these days, it's different now. You get what I'm saying? They like put it this way: where my daughter moms live at, she live in the village where they play the Masters at. Not the Masters, the one they play in Atlanta, but it's called East Lake.
Is it Augusta?
No, that's in Augusta. They got one that they do in East Lake in Atlanta. But it's East Lake. I forget it might be. It's not the Masters, but it's another one that is called the Tiger Woods. They was out there playing and everything. They had it all blocked out.
Is it the Players?
It might be the Players. But what I'm saying is that somebody can look it up. Which golf tournament they have in Atlanta, East Lake. Y'all can look it up and remind me. But what I'm saying is that where she live at, she stays in a 3-bedroom condo. You know what I'm saying? 2 full bath and a half bath. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, her next door neighbor pays $1,800 a month. She pays $400 a month. But she's responsible for all the utilities, just like all of the other people that pay $1,800 a month. She chooses to work at a certain place that only pays her a certain amount of money a month, Elvis. She been doing that for years. So once my daughter decided to go to college, I had to pay for that. And she still used that to get a write-off. You get what I'm saying? Because she still had custody. Like what I'm saying is they used the system to be lazy. So now, just like you say, she would have to pay for any appliance if the stove go out, the air condition, not the air condition, but the dryers, refrigerator go out, all of that. You get what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that she ain't got no problem being at the bar every week. She ain't got no problem having cookouts every week. She ain't got no problem goddamn enjoying herself for it socially. You know what I'm saying? She's not putting that same effort that she put in socially to make a better way to get out there. Now my daughter, once she aged out, she was done with her. Like she actually, I'm not gonna say she turned on my
See,
daughter.
I'm gonna be personal here for a bit, simply, but let's just do it for the conversation's sake, right?
Go
As a
ahead.
young man, when you said you came from a relatively decent family, church-going family, but you had to go to the street, right? Was it
No,
for economic
I've been in
reasons?
the streets since I've been in the streets since I was 14.
I get you, right? Was it
So,
because you wanted certain things that your
yeah.
parents couldn't get you and you felt like you wanted money, so you had to go do what you had to do in the street to get that money? Do you think poverty drew you to the streets to sell drugs and make
No,
money for yourself?
what I'm saying is I'm a different beast. You get what I'm saying? I always been. That's why they call me hustle. I have even when people talk, they think like I'm emotional. I'm not emotional at all. If you really listen to me, I'm really cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? And strategic. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually see humans, especially black people in the ghetto. I see them as ants. I don't even see them as real people. Like I don't even think they deserve to live. You get what I'm saying? Like they just a waste.
Why would you say that, bro? Come on.
What I'm trying to tell you, this is the mindset of a guerrilla hustler. You have to see the people, because think about it, Elvis. If I'm sitting out on the block all day, I watch these people buying drugs. I'm cooking it up. You get what I'm saying? So I watch these people going down, 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 down. I see them selling their mama stuff. I see them selling this stuff, all this stuff. I see them selling cars, see them stealing cars.
People who are on drugs, right?
Huh?
People who are on drugs or just regular folks?
On drugs. It could be anything.
Yeah, that's what
bro.
that's what drug will do to you, though.
Yeah, that's what it is. But what I'm saying is that I know the way I'm cooking it up is making them be more of a junkie. It's just say, for instance, like a restaurant know that they put, this much seasoning, this much salt in there, you know what I'm saying, to keep it, like we say in the black community, they put their foot in it, you know what I'm saying, to keep people coming back and eating this unhealthy food. I know what I was serving, but what rationalized in my brain that I didn't even see these people as humans. So I had
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, we're talking about poverty here, right? And sometimes people get trapped in poverty.
It was no poverty. Like I say, my mom and dad was preachers. My mama was a federal employee. She worked for office personal management. So that's what
I'm saying. What make you go out there to sell drugs? What was the rationale in your mind?
Lifestyle. It was just a lifestyle
thing.
I came up in the late 80s. That's when everybody was, riding around. Guys my age were riding around 16 years old with a car. You didn't have to have no license to go get a car. And, all the girls was it was goddamn girls in middle school dating grown ass men, picking them up from school and everything. You didn't have, unless you were selling dope, you couldn't get a chick. That's just the way it was when I came up. So therefore, it took me back where we came from. And when I came back, I still had some of my family in Bankhead Court, and it was like, cool, you know what I'm saying? Set up shop. You get what I'm saying? So it was the hustle of the street, and I saw how easy it was. That what drew me there. You get what I'm saying? Like when I used to pull up at my mom's house, she used to be like, just don't bring no drugs in the house. You get what I'm saying? Like that's all my mom knew I was selling drugs. You get what I'm saying? Like my whole family knew, but they knew.
That's what I'm saying. Why? If you came from a decent family, do you think you could have stayed home, went to school, did something, had a different, path that was less destructive to the community?
Let me tell you something. When I was at my age then, especially in Georgia, minimum wage was $4.25. That was $4.25 an hour. So you think about that.
So I'm saying, was it money related? Was you thinking like, I don't want to go work for?
But what I'm saying, it was money related, but I was chasing the hip hop was the newest thing on the market. And everybody was having beepers, everybody was having Gucci, everybody was wearing Jordans, everybody was wearing Starter. So if you didn't have no Starter jacket, you was lame. My parents made money, but they weren't gonna buy me 3-4 Starter jackets. They weren't gonna buy me 3-4 pair of Jordans. You get what I'm saying? I had to work in the church. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something about let me tell all of y'all something about kids that have parents that preachers. They don't pay you to help out in the church.
Yeah, you're
You don't
doing the Lord's work. Yeah, the
oh
Lord
yeah,
paid you
fuck
for it.
the Lord, man.
Oh, come on, don't do that.
Yeah, fuck God and his faggot ass son Jesus. You get what I'm saying? Like, let me explain something to you, Elvis. The day I stopped believing in God was the day that I read the Bible. As soon as I finished the Bible and closed the book, that was the day I stopped believing in it. That was the day I stopped believing. There's nowhere in the world that you can read that book and be like, oh shit, this is what I want to believe in. Now, I know if you go to certain churches, you like the message, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some people that are not self-motivated, so they go to church, they get their spiritual vitamin, they can take care of the weak, or if they have issues, they can hear the right message. They're like, oh Lord, that's he talking to me today. I don't feel none of that shit when I go to church. None of it. Like none, I never felt like the preacher was talking to me. None of the message
Well,
resonated.
you know what
to
they
me.
say in the Bible, right? You know what Jesus said. Like,
what is that?
All those who my Father has destined for me, He won't lose any of them, right? So maybe you're not destined for.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't destined to do it. So that's what I'm saying. So when out of all the other family, like my sisters, my nephew, you know, all of them, they got in the church well. I chose to go in the street life. You know what I'm saying? And I dealt with it the best way I can. But the good thing
So
of
you know, and I want to understand people, because sometimes we argue, we fight, but sometimes it's better to understand where a person is coming from, and sometimes it's good to get to know somebody a little deeper. So I'm saying, you're saying to me that it wasn't anything that your parents did. They were fine. They did a good enough job, but it was just that you
yeah.
wanted a lifestyle, you wanted certain
Well,
things.
let me take it even further. One day I think I had came home late or something like that. I think I was like 14 or 15. I was laying on the floor, and I think my mama asked me was I was going to church, and I was like, no, I ain't going to church. So she told me something. She's like, well, if you ain't going to church, you can't stay in this house. That's what she said. So while I
Yeah,
was laying on the
my mom
floor,
used to tell me that all the time. You know,
so listen, while she was laying on the floor, this was the disrespect. Laying on the floor, she started playing church music loud and started vacuuming the floor while I'm laying on the floor. I got my stuff up. I called the person that you know, dudes that I knew in the streets. They told me where I can look. It was you know what the funny thing is? The funny thing. The first 2 months I was living on the streets, I lived at a church. It was a church in the neighborhood. It was like a outside the neighborhood. It was a white church, and they had
So
like
you're telling me that you left the house because your mama told you you can't live in the house if you don't go to church, and you didn't want to go to church, so you left the house.
I left, but the funny part was when I was on the streets, you know. At that age, they would let you get a hotel. You can get a junkie or something to get you a hotel or stay at people's houses or whatever. But I didn't want to do that because I had all this dope and I had all this money. So it was this church. It was this church that was there. They had like a little gap on the side. They had these branches of trees and they had these lights on the side. And I post up there and I started sleeping right there. I slept there for like 2 or 3 months until I got until I got over there to a spot where somebody let me rent out a spot in Bankhead. But I was going to Bankhead every day, going back to the church. I didn't want to stay in Bankhead like that anymore because it was too much, killing going on, people getting robbed. Like it was somebody getting their door kicked in every night. So I didn't want to stay in there overnight. Even though you had guns and you could protect yourself, you don't want to have a shootout every goddamn night. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is though, so when I went out there at 14, the thing that sold me was that it was just so easy because I saw that I was smarter than 98% of the people out here. Like everybody, they're like sheep. They're like pigs. You know what I'm saying? You just hold your hands
Let
out.
me say this, right?
Go ahead.
All of us on this platform, people in the channel, I'm sure, as Black people, even Africans like myself, our parents will tell us all the time, if you don't want to do this, you can leave. If you don't want to listen to my rules, you can leave. But we never left. Never left the household because obviously we were kids. We knew we needed our parents. And so I don't know why you made that decision to leave simply
because the dude, when I told my homeboy about it, and he was like, oh yeah, that's hustle. He like, oh, tell him I got a $400 pack from him. And back in the spot that we was at, Elvis, I can sell that $400 in about 2 hours. So out of that $400, back in the days, you got paid 30 off the 100. You get what I'm saying? So if he gave you $400, you had $120. You know what I'm saying? So when I left that day, I went and sold that pack $400 and I kept 120. And I was like, I'm not going back. Now, don't get me wrong. If I wouldn't have went out there and made it that day, I probably would have went back, but I still was going to the streets though. But what I'm saying is that my mentality made me a hustler's dream. So I had dudes like, man, no, man, it go another pack. You know what I'm saying? It go 600 pack. It go 800 pack. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is the thing. Like, when dudes got locked up and dudes start running, they would throw their dope down. I would go get in the holder from them. Even if they got locked up, I would sell it for them and give them the money back. I was just gaining my knowledge with them. They were like, oh, that hustle, man. Oh, he loyal. He this, he that. So now at 16 years old, I'm messing with the BMF dudes. They like, oh, he the one, man, get him 2 ounces. Get him 3 ounces. Hook me up in a trap house with some more dudes. You get what I'm saying? And from that day, it was the blow up until I went to prison. You get what I'm saying? Like the thing about it, it was so easy for me because it's so much disloyalty in the black neighborhoods, in the urban neighborhoods. So when they catch somebody that's honest and only.
But do you feel any remorse for that? You think you've tried to make? I know you said you do some work in your community. You got a place that you go to every Saturday or Sunday. Is that to try to pay back some of the wrongs you've done, or is it just?
Oh yeah. That's my thing. Let me tell you like this. If I had to put a number on how many people that I know died from my hands, probably about 26 people. At least 26. At least 26 people died from my hands, either from my hands of, you know what I'm saying, giving them straight powder. You get what I'm saying? Like, so, like, it'll be like maybe it was a chick or a dude that did something to one of my partners or something, and they'll tell me about it. Or, you know, because how you would get a sale case in the trap was a junkie would go buy the drugs and give the drugs to the undercover, and he just point. That's how you would get a sale case in the hood. They would pull up, the undercover would be driving the car, the junkie would get out, go to you and buy the drugs, the undercover would see you, and that's how you would get it. We find out, and you know, I get a phone call from a dude, he'll be like, hey man, this person did me like that, and I'm like, man, okay, I'm gonna give them that straight work. So I'm giving it to them uncut. The bust they hard, I put them in the hospital. Like, it was really cutthroat. I was really cutthroat out there. But what I'm saying, cutthroat and loyalty makes you valuable in the hood. It just makes you valuable. And it make everybody want to show you how to do worse. So now people, you know what I'm saying, coming by the spot, dropping out pounds, or the dudes when they used to go to the club, because everybody went to the clubs and the bars. I never went to the bars and clubs. You get what I'm saying? So these dudes used to let me hold their work. You get what I'm saying? So either I would sell it for more or whatever. Even if I sold them, they still would give me a cut. So while all these dudes out here partying, getting drunk, and being flashy, I was the one that was just sitting out there hustling all day. I was always in the trap. I didn't want to fraternize or do none of that stupid shit. You get what I'm saying? So
I mean, you talk to kids and you tell them not to go down that route, right? You tell them to stay away from drugs and all that shit.
Bro, now I'm a fucking sugar bear when it comes to the goddamn kids. I'm a straight up pushover. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I'm in the hood, anytime wherever I see kids walking or whatever, I'll take them in the store. Or if it's a restaurant there, I'll let them go in there and get something to eat. Yeah, because I know that what I did. So that's why I go into the neighborhood. I go into the roughest neighborhood in Atlanta. The roughest neighborhood in Atlanta to try to get brothers off the street so they wouldn't be like me. You get what I'm saying? So they wouldn't have to sit out here and sell drugs, because once you're in the hood, Elvis, and you know all the junkies, everybody know you, and they know you a cool dude, they're going to want to buy their drug for you. That's just the way it works. So now I'm trying to get, bro. That's why I go to the truck stop every weekend. Like, it's almost like I force myself to go every weekend. Now, sometimes I don't go 2 days. This week, because it was the Memorial Day weekend, I knew it was going to be a lot of people in there. So now I try to get brothers to be entrepreneurs. All I'm saying is this right here, Elvis. I know that being an entrepreneur saved my life. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the only thing that took me off the street was the first day of me being an entrepreneur. My first week, I brought home about $6,000 in a month. Do you get what I'm saying? That
Did
was
you
the
start off
only
with your
thing.
trucking, or you started with doing something else before you got into trucking?
No. Oh, yeah. You know, I had to get a. You know, I was on parole, so you have to get a job. You get what I'm saying? So you know, I was working a regular job, but still, you know, working 40 hours. I would just go to work early in the morning, and then I found the Bankhead was off Fulton Industrial. And Fulton Industrial is a business area. All I did was found the warehouse that was 3 miles away from Fulton Industrial. You get what I'm saying? And I worked, you know, early in the morning, then all night we would just be in the trap. And that's just the way it was until the opportunity came for me to work for myself. And what I'm saying is I don't have the answers. I don't have the solution. I just know for people that think like me, and people that are guerrilla hustlers, the only thing that saved my life is that I started making not as much as I did when I was trapping, but I at least made half of that. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, when you put in perspective, it's about $50 $50 or $60 an hour. But when I was working a regular job, I was only getting paid 12 to 15. You see what I'm saying? So if I was still making $12 to $15 an hour, I would have still been trapping. But once I got to the point that I'm up to $50 an hour, it made me not want to go back. And it made me want to make more.
So you're saying that you just couldn't do it. You couldn't work a regular job, you know, between, let's say, 15 and 20 bucks. That couldn't cut it for you. You have to go back to the streets. Is that what
It's
you're
hard
saying?
to do that. It's hard to do that in Atlanta and live by
Okay.
yourself.
Okay.
Because it's just like how somebody in Lagos, you know, if you stay on the island, you get what I'm saying? It's more expensive. You stay in the mainland, it's cheaper. So if you stay in the hood, you can do that. But I didn't want to stay in the hood because I was a part of the problem. Like, now this is the most fucked up thing. Why would I want to live where I made the problem?
Right, that's
get
what I was
what
gonna
I'm
say.
saying?
Because you went back to your old neighborhood, or you live out a different area than where you grew up from,
No,
right?
it's the same neighborhood. That's where my family was at in Bankhead on the west side. That's where we
Did
came from.
you have issues with people after you got back? After you got out, people try
No,
to
because
get
I
back
was
at you or
still
anything?
out because I was young. I was young when I went back out there. So therefore the OGs welcomed me back. You get what I'm saying? Because I stayed on the block. You know what I'm saying? Like this how it is,
So
Elvis.
one more
Go ahead.
question, bro. Let's get it.
No,
What's
go
your
ahead.
issue? What's your issue with black women? What black women do to you that you feel like you need to get at them every chance you get?
The only problem I have with black women is that they act like you can't hold them accountable. That's the only problem I have with them. Like you hold them, like I can have a conversation with Elvis. Me and you don't have drug out battles, but if you right, you right, and if you wrong, you wrong. It ain't no such thing as I'm a black man, and it ain't no forever. If you right, you right. You get what I'm saying? That's the difference between talking to a man and talking to a woman.
But I'm saying though, right? We be having a conversation like me and you are you and somebody else on the panel, and you get a chance to speak, and then you start going at black women and calling them wild hyenas, Jerome Bettis. Why do you do that all the time, man? I want to understand why.
I tell you what, I don't call an intellectual black female that's doing what she got to do, and she's not running around with bonnets in her head, and she ain't got them vibranium Wakanda leggings with the vibranium stitched in the side to hold up all that girth and all that belly meat. You know what I'm saying?
You do it again, bro. I want to know why you do it. Don't do it to try to explain why you do it.
I'm just saying, when you have a certain type of when you got a certain type of woman that will sit up there and talk shit about you and then turn around and play the victim, I don't respect women like that. I don't respect women that attack you then play the victim. Well, change that. Let me say it like this. I don't respect a woman that would attack me and play victim to you. That's what I don't respect. You get what I'm saying? Now,
I get it, right? But hustle smart. When we're having this conversation, right? We're talking, we might be talking about politics or whatever's going on in Africa. And you get a chance to get on the mic, and nobody's really saying shit to you like a woman or anything, and you just go off on the women. It's like it's unsettling for most of us.
But today it was. Did you see the lady that was fighting with the ICE police?
Yeah, the politician, right?
Not
I
the
seen the
black,
story.
the big husky, 375-pound grizzly bear black woman that could be a Stacey Abrams stunt double. She was out there rude. Get your hands off me and push it like, come on now. Like you're a you're a congresswoman. Why you out there pushing when your voice and the power of the pen worked for you? Why you out there pushing and shoving? So you didn't think that she was way out of character?
I mean, she's gonna go through the court system. She's gonna get charged or whatever.
Nah,
She's
that wasn't
gonna
the
go.
question, Elvis. You're dancing, bro. I'm
Oh,
saying
what I'm
her
saying is
actions.
that's not a reason, right? To use to disparage black women. Your mom is black. I'm sure you say you have a sister. We have
I
women on the
don't give a
platform.
damn if my grandma was black. I call a spade a spade. She was sitting up there. She was the biggest chick out there, and she was out there fighting and pushing federal agents. It don't matter. Let me tell you something. What my grandma told me a long time ago. She said that it don't matter if your cousin is a prostitute. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what she does. It doesn't excuse her that she's your cousin. If she's a prostitute, she's a prostitute. And you just call it what it is. Now, you give her grace if she wants some help, but you don't say what she's not just because she's your family. You get what I'm saying? It was my grandma that taught me to hold people accountable. You get what I'm saying? And then say what you mean and mean what you say. But you know what I'm saying? But the thing that, like, at the end of the day, Elvis, most black women love me. They love me to death. Even when I do my show, black women love me. You get what I'm saying? It just only, like, I can sit up here and talk about black men until the cows come home. Black women don't say a word. They don't say, leave my black men alone. They don't have nothing.
I mean, okay, let me say this, right? I mean, you're different. You certainly have a different perspective than I do. But I'm
Yeah.
saying as men, right? As most Pan-African men, and just black men in general, right? As we get older, we love our mothers, we love our sisters. We can't just be having conversation, especially those in the public, right? Where there might be other races hearing us, and just start disparaging our women in the way that you do. Sometimes it's funny, the way you put the words together is funny to make us chuckle. But for the most part, it's very disrespectful, and the women don't like it. So
I don't
why
give
don't you
a
think you
fuck
should stop? You should stop doing that.
Elvis, I don't give a fuck if a woman don't like the way I say. At the end of the day, don't give me the ammunition. You get what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sweep. I'm not gonna sweep nothing that dudes do under the rug, and I ain't gonna sweep nothing under the rug that women do. It's not because I got a mama. Hell, I got a daddy too. But the thing about it is, one thing that you didn't say nothing about her when I talk about men. You didn't say nothing about I got a dad and I got brothers and I got boy cousins. You just only went to the women's side. And that's where the pandering come in at. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you want to pander for both sides, then pander for both sides. But if you only gonna pander for one side, that's what causes confusion. Let me tell you something. Some of the 20% of black men that didn't vote Democrat, that's the reason why they didn't, because they felt like they didn't have no voice. They began shouted down and talked down to for the last 4 to 8 years. And that was their time to sit up there and be like, well, fuck it. This is my fuck you to the black women. That's how a lot of men are, because they felt like they in jobs or they work in places where they can't say what they want to say. I pray to fake ass white Jesus that none of my money comes from the black people. I would hate the way that
Wait, so you saying you don't make money for black people? You don't do business with black folks, or your money come from white people?
Well, it ain't number. Just it's only when you're dealing with the rail system. It's only like corporations. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't. It's no. It's
So
no
I
black
mean, is
people.
that what you're saying? You don't respect black people because you don't get money from them? If you was getting more money from
No.
them,
What
you
I'm
respect
saying
them
is
more?
that I would hate to have a job to where somebody black can listen to something that I say can get me fired or not hired.
Okay.
Because that's what black people do. That's why the doxing is all over the internet. That's why people sit up there and find out where it's all over the internet. Find out where you work. Man, I seen this one girl, they came on here, found out where she worked at, sent videos of what she was saying, everything, got her fired. This is a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Just because she tried to hold black women accountable, saying, hey, you know, how about y'all not go inside Walmart licking? I don't know if you remember this, Elvis. Do you remember that trend where a black woman was going in Walmart licking the ice cream, putting it back
Oh
in there?
yeah. I remember that.
She was in there talking about how nasty and disgusting that was, and they doxed her and just clipped the parts what she was saying about with that, and then they was like, okay, she doesn't fit this, and you know what I'm saying, because
But what was she saying though? What was the part that she was saying? Was she just saying some racist shit?
she just went off. She just went ratchet. She went hustle smart on them. She went hustle smart on them what anybody else would do. If you saw a video, and you know what's so crazy about it is, Elvis, that in Atlanta, most kids are the ones when parents go in there and buy ice cream, it's mostly for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Now you got some big fat, you know, Mr. Snuffleupagus people and Stacey Abrams.
I love a butter pecan ice cream.
But you ain't getting how often do you eat it? How often do you eat it for real?
Yeah, I haven't eaten ice cream in a while actually.
Exactly. What I'm saying, and these women was in there, goddamn, going to open up big tubs of ice cream and licking it and putting it back in.
Well, that was a stupid little TikTok trend, right? It wasn't anything malicious. These girls are just trying to be
said it wasn't nothing malicious.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the little stupid trends
you
where
said it was nothing malicious about licking and putting your DNA spit on some ice cream.
Well, when I say malicious, you know what malicious means? To cause hurt, right? To cause harm to somebody. I mean, yes, I don't want to take somebody's spit, especially if it's not my wife. But I'm saying, like, they're not going to kill somebody. They don't got AIDS. It's not like somebody who has AIDS and sticking their blood and trying to poison somebody with an infected.
You can get hepatitis from that.
Yeah, but most of them don't have hepatitis. That's what I'm saying. You have to have it first in order to.
You don't know who got what. They ain't walking around with no signs on their neck. What I'm just saying is it's just nasty and it just
I get it. It's unsanitary. It's you know, it's not cool.
If that's the case, Elvis, then how about you just walk in there and start sticking your finger in there and scoop up a finger?
No. I know what you mean. But I'm saying when I say malicious, that's the word I was using, meaning like you know this is going to harm somebody and you do it intentionally to harm that person. That's
right. That's what I'm saying. What I was saying was I pushed the narrative because you'd be better off sticking your finger in there than sticking your nasty ass tongue.
That's true. Well, a lot of people got arrested and they got punished for
it was a lot of them got away with it. But what I'm saying that it was mostly black women that was doing that. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that she went off on them and then she got fired, lost her job out of people calling her. She had kids.
No, but I'm saying, what did she say? I didn't see the video you're talking about, but I did see girls doing that shit on TikTok.
She just went full hustle smart on them.
Nah, when you said hustle smart, what you mean? Like, what was she saying?
She was calling all type of ignorant, dumb bitches. She was calling them low. She was calling them EBT bitches and all type of shit. You know,
and that's the thing. That's the thing. When you have a responsible job, you can't speak just loosely like that and call people out of their name.
That's now you see my point because I want to talk as loosely as I can, and I'm glad I work a job where I can. You get what I'm saying? To where ain't now one of these companies that need these containers to go on their rail is gonna be like, oh, he said what? They don't even answer the phone. They ain't gonna even answer the phone. Ain't nobody to call. It ain't nobody. I don't even know who they is. I just go on the board, pull up a board, somebody call me, I get an email, and that's it. I don't even know who the person that I'm talking to. So
when was the last time you had an argument with a black woman, Simplies?
I don't get in arguments with them. I'm telling you, I'm the nicest.
That's what I'm saying, because it's like it seems a lot of people believe it, and I believe it too.
They think
that
like
you
I
have a genuine beef. Yeah, like that you have a genuine beef against black women because
like
of the way
none. Like Elvis, if I call my just yesterday, my son wanted an iPhone 6. He wanted an iPhone 16 because he's going to space camp. He's going to space camp in Huntsville. You know what I'm saying? He want to be a NASA engineer, so he can train for NASA. Be a NASA engineer at the space camp. I don't know if you know about it. They got a space camp in Huntsville where they go for like 4 weeks or something like that. So. You know what I'm saying? She said they have an idea. I was like, no, I'll pay for everything. You get what I'm saying? She's like, no, you ain't got to pay for everything. I was like, no, I'll pay for everything. She's like, well, you can take it out the child's support. I said, no, I won't. I'll pay for everything. I'll go pick them up. And then when she went and got the iPhone 16, she was like, well, I get paid every 2 weeks since she worked for the FAA. So she's a federal employee. She worked right behind the White House at the FAA building. So she was like, my check ain't come, and then if I get it, his phone is on my account, and then my bill is due. I said, well, I'll tell you what, then go ahead and get the phone, and I'll pay for your phone bill too. You get what I'm saying? So she was like trying to be nice. I'm like, oh, let's stop it right now. Let's do we just cordial. It's a business deal. You get what I'm saying? She's like, no, I was just trying to be nice to you. I'm like, hey, you ain't got to be nice to me. Just be cordial. You need some help, I'll help you out. I got the money to do it. No emotions, no nothing extra. Let's just make the deal and go on by the business. See, she actually don't like when I do this. She wants to praise me or want me to accept her praise, and I'm not accepting that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a bit of deal. Like, women are sneaky like that. You sit up there and try to be all friendly with them.
Sometimes you just gotta accept somebody giving you kudos when you're performing well and you're doing good, and
I don't need it. I don't need that.
Thank you, man. Shit.
You see, that's what I'm saying. See, Elvis, now you understand why Mother's Day is a big day, and Father's Day you don't get nothing but some funky ass socks. You get what I'm saying? So, because men don't need a pat on their back for being a good father. You get what I'm saying? All I know is that I just want to be better than what my dad be. To me, that's all I do. And it's not even hard. And because she has him 95% of the time, that anytime where they have to deal with some money, I just make that happen. Do you get what I'm saying? So it ain't I don't ask her what she do with the money. Just yesterday, she needed some extra money. I just sent my son. Well, I ain't gonna send it to her because I'm still gonna consider it if she ever try to put me on child support. So I sent him $600. You get what I'm saying? Just to help out. So if my son says something, but far as being cool and all that stuff, like I don't play that role with females at all. Because one thing about females, they'll pump you for information. And then when they don't like you or dislike you, they'll use all that evidence against you. That's the same thing that's going on with Cassie and Diddy.
Not just regular women off the street. These are usually women you have an intimate relationship with. Women you dating.
My baby mama is a Howard graduate. You get what I'm saying? Working at the FAA. And if she get the ups on you, she will take advantage, man. I don't trust now one of these uppity hood rats from Southeast DC. I don't give a fuck where you go to shop at, where you want to go brunch at, where they all uppity twerk monkeys for me. So I keep all women in the same category.
But I'm saying, simply is you marry these women, right? You have babies with them, right?
Yeah. This is the thing, though. I'm a real nice guy. When I wanted to get a divorce, when I divorced my, you can ask Brandon. She was sending me pictures. She was talking about she had a spiritual awakening and she wanted to get back together. Like at my house is like a prison. I run it like a prison. There's rules and regulations. You know, that's why my daughter don't want to live with me.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
So let's go. Like, what made you marry your first wife? What made you say, you know what, I want to marry you?
She was my little nasty Trinidad trick sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so why marry her? She's a trick sandwich.
Oh, she was my trick sandwich. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm saying. Why marry her if you don't hold her in high regard?
I caught her when she was fresh off the boat, fresh off the double. The chickpea and roti boat, you know what I'm saying?
So she was an immigrant. She was a new immigrant. She needed what? She needed her documents or something.
She still had that breath. She still smelled like the village.
Oh my God! But you married her though, right? You married her, so you must have loved her, or at least something close to that.
Yeah, I did love her. You know what I'm saying? For about 3 or 5 years, when she started getting Americanized, I told her that she was changing, and actually, she actually wanted to move her family in at my house. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that ain't gonna happen. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It was a thing. She was like, family this. And I'm like, no, I'm not that family orientated at all. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to go your way. You get what I'm saying? So I helped her get an apartment. I helped her get an apartment, a little 2-bedroom apartment, and paid for it up to like a year. Like then it was cheaper. It was like $600 a month. You know, I paid for her apartment up to a year and made sure she was good. and then that was it. So I have always been a way to know how to divorce women to the point we don't fall out. And then my second wife is from the Bahamas. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, so
you know what?
you like foreign women, huh?
I like but Elvis. If she ain't foreign, she boring. I would never marry one of these American hood rat twerk.
So you
monkeys.
didn't marry any of your former wives are not American women? They're all foreign women?
All of them foreign. If she ain't foreign, she boring.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
No, I would marry an American woman. Hell no.
I mean, what's wrong with that? Okay, let me ask you. I'm just an African, and
never because
you dated African American women before, right? I'm
because
guessing.
American women will use the system on you. Even if I filed for divorce or she filed divorce, she'll use the system on me.
So what's the difference between an African American woman and a woman from the Caribbean or African woman?
Oh, just the way they're raised up. Like I'm saying if they coming from America, they coming from another country, they have those values. Like those values that America has. Now, American women, I use them for recreation uses only.
Oh man, come on, man. Don't say that shit.
No. This is not a joke. I only use American women for recreation use only. You know what I'm saying? She got about a 24, 36 hour shelf life. That's it. You get what I'm saying? I don't even take Black American women serious. You get what I'm saying? But they all money hungry and they all greedy as fuck. So I just deal with them. On that level. You know what I'm saying? So and I just keep it moving. But African girls, Nigerian girls, Kenyan girls, Kenya and Uganda has the nicest chicks on the continent, as far as I can see now.
I mean, let's say this right, Sim. Let's be honest. I'm an African.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who go back home. There's a discrepancy in terms of economic prowess for African women on the continent, or even African women here, than that of African American women who, have their own jobs, they have their own careers.
Yeah, they respect
They have families, strong families here that they can go to in times of need. So it's a difference. So a woman might be more conciliatory to you because she needs you financially, so she needs you more than you quote unquote need her.
That's
so
true.
Maybe that's why African women are more,
well, at the end of the day, Elvis, I'm old as fuck. So that's why I deal with more of the Caribbean chicks, because they're more, I just need somebody. I'm trying to raise her up to be my nurse. You know what I'm saying? That's really all I'm doing.
Did you just say you old as fuck? I think I missed that part. Or you said you cool as fuck. What you said?
I know I'm old as fuck. I'm getting older. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I know my shelf life. So I need a young African girl that, you know what I'm saying, that I can groom her up so that she can just take care of me and then I have the money to make sure she's straight. Like that's what I'm telling you, Evan. I'm strategic. I'm not saying that I don't like her, but I'm definitely using her. I'm using her youth to benefit me.
I get all of that. Look, for each his own, right? But I'm saying, right, bro, and you're a grown man. I can't tell you what to do. What I'm saying, on the platform, when you come up, it's like Black American women. They, you say you ain't got no problem with them. I don't get the point where you cut them out, you make fun of them. I don't get it.
They think Black American women think I'm the nicest guy in the world. You get what I'm saying? Like all my cousins, sisters, their friends, if they want some type of information or want something explained to them, they'll all call me. Now, you know what? One thing that I like about my family is that there's like, well, if you want your questions answered off of logic, then we'll call him. I understand that with my family. If they want to talk to me and they just want to vent, I'm not the one to want to vent to. It's gonna be consequence and repercussions if you have a conversation with me. I'm not gonna just listen to you. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna say it's like some people say that like I'm not using a woman. We're both using each other. You come from a country like Kenya. That's my claim to fame right now. You come from a place where Kenya, where $100 a month is your is what you've been surviving, your whole family been surviving off of. So, you know what I'm saying? I bring you here and then put you in a situation to where, you know, you do this, and on top of that, you get supported to the point you have all the amenities of America. You get what I'm saying? And I'm grooming you to take care of me. You get what I'm saying?
Don't say that word, bro. I'm grooming. Yeah, grooming is kind of predatory, man. You said grooming
No,
is like,
grooming is only predatory if you use it in a predatory way. If you say like you're grooming a child or something, but just like me, when I went out there in the trap, the old hands was grooming me to get out there and
yeah,
hustle.
because they're predators, and they were taking advantage of you.
But no, they didn't take advantage of me. I was a willing participant. I signed up for that. So
But as a minor, that's why you can't make certain decisions, because your brain isn't fully developed.
That's what I'm saying. I was waiting
to make
consequential
decisions.
Elvis, I was mature for the streets. And, it didn't take me about 3 or 4 weeks to get out there and learn every tricks of the trade. I knew who was selling what. I knew who was robbing. I knew who sold the guns. I know the chicks that was selling the pussy. You get what I'm saying? I knew the chicks that was setting dudes up. I knew the chicks that was out there that was going to jail, who's on this drug, that drug. Man, you learn that shit in the hood because that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like a network of nothing ass people. You know what I'm saying? And I did everything to crush them. I'm talking about everything to crush them. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, somebody called me and they said they called me a key Joe for but see, this is the thing though. At least Elvis, I put him in a position where they can be married. So if I die or they lose something, at least they'll get those benefits. The only thing is that my house I already have it. That's why I tell any man, don't never marry a woman till you have your own house first. She can't take it from you. You already had it.
I agree with that. I tell him, I say the same thing.
Before you even start dating that uppity twerk monkey, have your house in your name, brothers. Do not be sitting up there talking about you're gonna build with a chick.
Oh, you can have a prenup even if you're poor, or even if you're on the same level.
Even a prenup after so many years, you get what I'm saying? If the prenup goes down, there's no such thing as a forever prenup. After every year, she gains on the prenup. Every year, she gains an extra percentage.
Hey guys, we got to close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty, search for Huru. Peace.
We gone.